All right, welcome to the What Did I Miss podcast with Dennis Styles. On this show, I'll be covering all the stuff not on my main YouTube channel at DS2 Smooth, from movies and gaming reviews to movie and gaming news to anime, comic books, and honestly anything else I feel like yapping about. And new episodes drop weekly. Okay, ooh, that was a nice little intro. Literally, right now, I'm literally sitting in my room in the dark with this computer's bright as hell. Let me turn it down in the dark. I don't know. I just got done watching Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, which I'll be reviewing. I'll get into what we got going for this week, but I don't know. I'm just in a very chill vibes. I've just been editing and just writing hella scripts or like starting hella scripts, just really trying to up my content output to because every time I post something on YouTube on my main channel, I'm getting subscribers. And so it's just really a matter of posting, obviously posting consistently, but like upping the output. But also at the same time, I don't want to put out no BS, So it's like kind of, tiring, racking my brain for ideas and whatnot. But anyways, I don't even know how I started on that tangent. But what it's looking like for this week, we got some big news for the new Daredevil series, Daredevil Born Again, that I'm excited to get into. It's a big week for gaming again. There's other gaming news, but like the biggest one or piece of news is AI is like SAG and after whatever, like when the strikes and shit were going on, like the Actors Guild and stuff. But they recently passed was the right terminology, a bill or like came to an agreement to use AI. What am I trying to say? AI in video games, like for voice acting in video games. And it seemed like a lot of voice actors were like blindsided from this, but I'll get into it. But that does kind of suck though. But and then also we got some. We may be getting a Mandalorian movie after the lackluster performance of season 3. I had a review for season 3 cooking up, and I was absolutely grilling that show. But then I kind of when I was doing that, when I was actually editing that video, like I was switched up the way I was doing my content. Like, yeah. So I just did not end up putting out that video, but it was actually kind of a banger, not gonna lie. And the main topics for this week is I'm reviewing Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which I did just mention that I finished up. Echo first impressions. So the thing is, I said last week that I was like, damn, I don't know if I'm gonna finish Echo because I thought it was like dropping on Thursday, but it ended up dropping like on Tuesday. And I was watching it with my shorty, and then I fell asleep on like the last 2 episodes. Not gonna lie. Yeah. So I'm just gonna be giving my first impressions. I was enjoying it. I was just super tired, but yeah, just talk about that, and then also give my first impressions on the Ultimate Spider-Man comic that just came out. I was gonna like review it on this, but I decided I'm gonna make a YouTube video on it just because I've been like the idea for a while of how I wanted to talk about comics, and obviously comics is like a visual medium, and so I just feel like I wouldn't do it justice enough, especially when I'm talking about art and stuff like story, like whatever. Like I can get that point across, but especially like art, it's harder to convey that on an audio medium type shit. So, and then I had a plan to like the way I wanted to do it on my YouTube channel, but honestly, I really like this comment, so I was just like, fuck it, let me just pull the trigger. So, I'm making a video on that, but I still want to give my first impressions since I did mention last week that I was gonna talk about it. So, that's what it's looking shaping up for the main topics, and there will be time codes below, so feel free to jump around to whatever part you want to, whatever piece of news, the Mandalorian movie news, the AI news, or just straight to the main topics. But so what did I miss last week? So when I was talking about, I think I went to this point before, but I guess just to reiterate, when I was talking about last week in my weekly watch list section, I think I like went and revisited a couple albums, and there were some Detroit artists, and I was talking about like Detroit music and how I'm just drawn to Detroit music more, like rap music. But But just because like I just really think obviously the raps are creative. Their beat selections are usually fucking great. And then it just kind of makes, and everyone's really like saying the same thing. And let me finish this point. Everything's saying this, really saying the same thing nowadays, in like trap, drill music type shit, rap music. So I don't know. Detroit, it just makes it like really creative and enjoyable to listen to. But that is not saying that other artists outside of Detroit and stuff don't make music that I listen to and enjoy and stuff. It's just their sound as a whole is what I'm drawn to the most. And then also on the topic of rap, trap and drill is like not the only rap music. So, there's other stuff out there, but it's just I'm not necessarily into. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to clear that up. But let's just jump straight into the news. Again, last week's episode was pretty long. It was like 3 hours and like 13 minutes or something. I should have low key, because I did this for the gaming when I talked about like the best and worst video games. I split it up into two parts because I was going pretty long. I should have split that up into two and not have it so long. I don't necessarily care about the length. Because I don't know. This is primarily for me, I guess, and just to get all these thoughts out that I just, I don't, on Twitter, one, I don't like necessarily care about this, like I'll still tweet, but it's like kind of talking into the void when I do talk about this stuff, because the people I follow aren't necessarily really into this stuff necessarily, because it's like local, like people that I know and stuff, so it's not like there's a couple people, but not necessarily is everyone's into comic books and geek shit, which is fine. But also on the side of it, I don't like following heck of people on Twitter, because then also you have to see their feed and like what they retweet and like what they like and whatnot. And I don't know, people just be putting bullshit on my timeline, and you're ruining my feng shui, bro. I don't want to see this. You feel me? Like when I was following this, I was like, I was in this RDC community on Twitter, because they have like these little communities or whatever, and there's a bunch of people in there. But like, we were talking about anime, chopping it up, and he followed me, so I was like, oh, this guy was cool. I was talking to him and stuff, so I followed him back, and then, it was fine for a couple weeks, but then he was like quoting something, and it was some penis on my TL, bro, and I was not for it. I'm like, I wasn't seeing any of that before I followed you, so you gotta go, buddy. So I unfollowed him. It's just like stuff like that, and not necessarily like nudity and stuff, but it's like I don't necessarily, and people probably feel the same way with me as well. Like, I don't necessarily care what you're into type shit, I don't know. What was that point? I don't even know where that started from. Hold on, let me find that thread. How did I get to talking about Twitter, bro? Jeez. Dang. I really don't remember. All right, well, I guess I wanted to finish that point, but I do not remember what I was talking about. My fault. Anyways, let's just get straight into the news. Jeez. So, all right, I'll just read it. So, Jon Bernthal, he plays the Punisher in the Netflix shows. He says that the Punisher has to be right. Wait, Jon Bernthal says his return as the Punisher has to be right. And then it's quoting him, with real sacred integrity to the source material and to what is at the core of Frank. I'm gonna do my absolute best to make sure that, and if we do it, I'm fucking up this whole quote. I'm gonna do my absolute best to make sure that, and if and when we do it right. Jesus, I don't know why that was like confusing my brain. Let me see this article. Oh yeah, that's what I was like. The main thing he said, if and when we do it, buddy. We know you're in Punisher or Daredevil Born Again. Yeah, I mean, I think I was when I was talking about the Marvel shows last week. I really like Jon Bernthal as the Punisher. He really, I don't know a bunch about a Punisher in the comics, but from what I've seen, I feel like he really captures the spirit and whatnot, and he's a really good actor. But yeah, buddy, we know you're in born again. But did I feel like I had something else to say about that. I don't know. I guess again, I think I was talking about last week. What was his name? Jake Johnson. He was talking about Peter B. Parker and like how he like cares about the character. I don't know. It's just really cool to see when like actors get not necessarily attached, but like in a sense where like, oh my god, like no one else can play this character. Like I'm just gonna be this character. But as in the sense that they really care about where the character is going and like the overall story and whatnot, and them trying to be accurate to the source material. And I need to get into some more Punisher comics right now. I'll get into it, Ultimate Spider-Man and stuff. And then as I just said F it recently and just decided I'm just gonna talk about comics. And because look, the original way I wanted to talk about comics on my YouTube channel, I wanted to like I needed a webcam and probably not necessarily a webcam. I probably use my phone, but it's just like syncing up audio and shit. And then also I wanted to do like over gameplay. But as I tried to, so with I guess I'll get into it later. Let's see what I was trying to get into some Punisher comics. So yeah, I'm try to do that. There's just a bunch to read right now, so I don't know how much of a priority that will be, because I was reading the Ultimate Universe, and then I was like, oh wow, this would be really fun to make a video, like videos on just like a new comic book reader going through the Ultimate Universe for the first time. I feel like that's some enjoyment can be found out of that. But I put a pause in reading the Ultimate Universe because like, okay, I don't want to get too far ahead and then like have to back and retread and like make the videos and stuff. But I just wanted to make the videos as I went along. But yeah, I put a pause in the Ultimate Universe. I just kind of been reading some Wolverine stuff, just trying to find his origin and whatnot, but I don't know where that was going. Anyways, speaking of Daredevil Born Again, we have some great news, if true. This is from the Snyder, and there's a couple, actually there's these are the only two articles I did not read, actually. So my bad. It's not too long. Let me just skim this real quick. I'll cut the dead space. Let me say the news first before I start reading. Karen and Foggy from the Daredevil like Netflix series. I don't know why I was like hesitating, but from season 1 to 3, Karen's like Daredevil's love interest. Karen Page. I don't know much about Daredevil in the comics and his love life and whatnot, but he's a love interest, and then Foggy is his best friend, and they just really had a good trio dynamic from the first Netflix series. And then for the new one, they were supposedly gonna be killed off screen in episode 1, which so that wasn't like anything official. It was like heavy rumors. Damn. But I just bumped my desk. I don't know if you guys heard that. But it was just really heavy rumors, and everyone was not fucking with that, myself included, because like I said, they have a really good chemistry together as like that trio. For better or for worse. But yeah, it was just a stupid decision to kill them off screen at that. And then also, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, when Daredevil was going through, it had like 8, maybe, because I think it's gonna be 16 episodes. It had like 8 episodes filmed out of the 16. I could be wrong on that, but they had they were a good amount in episodes filmed. And with the reworked, I talked about it previously, but Disney Plus was like reworking all their shows because they didn't have proper writing rooms and stuff. Like they weren't made as a traditional how a traditional show should be made, and like you could really feel that in some of like the quality of some of the shows and stuff, or it would start stronger and like fall off, or whatever. And so it just wasn't made traditionally, and so like they reworked the shows. And so in that, Daredevil got a super big overhaul, like a bunch, like pretty much I know writers, but pretty much a majority of the people working on the series before the rework were fired and brought like a whole new team in. And sucks that people lost their job, but like it just seems they're taking a whole creative shift of the show, which from the rumors and stuff, seems like a much better direction than it was headed. So all in all, I'm like happy that they really shift this. And then also with Foggy and Karen coming back, and I'll mention more of Daredevil when I get into Echo. Uh, but with Foggy and Karen coming back, does this mean they're gonna be, since I don't know how much they filmed so far, and then also I think this news was also like relatively quick on the, like it was decided quickly because they're starting to film. They're gonna start resuming filming very soon, and I think this decision maybe was like a week before filming. Let me make sure on that. Oh, well, this is from the Insider, but I guess you have to subscribe to read the full article. I'm not doing that. But dang, so I can't even validate that info. But take this with a grain of salt, I guess. Take all this with a grain of salt. Until I say otherwise. The Collider, the Jon Bernthal stuff, that was from Collider, so that's good. That was like from an interview. But this stuff, take with a grain of salt. So I guess apparently it was like a week before resume filming, they decided this. So I don't know if they like decided this was like, oh, come get on a plane or whatever. And then also in this Foggy and Karen coming back, the pilot was rewritten and reshot, and then additional like 2 episodes were rewritten too. So because they're keeping some of the stuff that did film, but just they're shifting it. But yeah, what I was saying though is apparently like the original, they were gonna get killed off screen, like I mentioned earlier, Foggy and Karen. And so, but is that still gonna happen though? Because I don't know. If you already have some episodes filming, you're keeping them, and they were not supposed to be in the story, then that them being included now wouldn't work, right? Because they would just be missing from the story, correct? Like portions of the episodes. Like, am I tripping? But what I'm saying is, are they gonna be still killed off? But this time they're just gonna be killed off on screen, which would suck. Like them being killed off, I don't want that like at all. Like I don't think there's any reason for it. And I think the rumor was like they're killed or something, and then like Matt stops being Daredevil because of the guilt or something. I don't know. Rumors. But I guess this is what this podcast is built on, right? I don't know. Yeah. So I hope they aren't killed off on screen and they're actually incorporated into the story, because I really like them as supporting characters. They're really good for that dynamic and whatnot. But some great news. I think it was rumored before that Wonderman, a Marvel show, was canceled, or at least dead in the water, and really was no progress on it. And then I think later it was like, oh no, Wonderman is still going on, but it was still rumored. And then so apparently Wonderman has resumed filming, and this is from Douglas Zalda, and someone else posted this, and like he was the source on this, so I like clicked on this person's Twitter handle to see what they check them out, and it was like some random account. So I was like, okay, this is not valid, like this is not concrete at all. So I wasn't gonna put it on there, but then I scrolled, and apparently this person like works by the filming studio or something, or at the filming studio, and like they had a bunch of like Wonder Man, like I wouldn't, not posters, but like displays or something. So it looks like it's starting to film, and so hey, that's great. Oh, what I was excited about this because it has a lot of good people involved. I'm pretty sure it has the writers of a really, I don't want to say Better Call Saul, but I feel like it's like a really highly praised show. But then also it has Fudge. What's his name? He plays in something recent. He plays Black Manta in Aquaman. And he played the Candyman guy in Candyman, and he's in other stuff. He's really good, but I was really excited. He's playing Wonder Man, and I was really excited about that. And then maybe I thought the Better Call Saul stuff, because Bob Odenkirk, who plays Saul in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, he's in the show as well. And there's a couple other good names attached. And I was really just excited about everyone who is involved in the project. And so, and I don't know anything about Wonderman at all. And so it's just cool seeing some good names attached to it, and then a new character. It seems like, it has a recipe to be great, or at least good. I'll get to this. I was gonna say something, but I'll get to that when I talk about Echo. The next piece of news: Robert Downey Jr. says playing Fudge. I should be time coding these as I go along because that makes everything a lot easier, but it's fine. Robert Downey Jr. says playing Iron Man had some of his greatest performances as an actor. He thinks it went a little bit unnoticed because of the genre. This was from a podcast called Literally with Rob Lowe. I agree with this 100%. I mean, this isn't. I put this in here because I guess like movie quote unquote snobs like just look down on the superhero genre, and I wouldn't. I was gonna say rightfully so, but no, it's not necessarily. I don't know if this was from the podcast, but Robert Downey Jr. said, "Yes, the superhero genre is a little. This is not a direct quote, but it's a little. What's the word I'm looking for? Maybe formulaic. But he said when it's like done at like really when it's done well, it's another form of high art. That's what he said, high art. But but yeah, like when it's done well, it's fucking great. Like Logan and just like the emotional beats and stuff. And so, quote unquote movie snobs just like look down on the whole genre. And I agree. Well, I haven't seen all of Robert Downey Jr.'s work, but his acting in Civil War and like was really convincing. Just like that conflict, especially at the end when he's like, confronting Cap and Bucky. His his in game work when he comes back from being stuck in space and like he's mad at Cap for driving a wedge in between the Avengers and whatnot and leaving them vulnerable for attack. The end of Infinity War, and this is like Tom Holland as well. But when Spider-Man's dying, he's holding him and disappears, and he just has that face of defeat and disappointment. Like he really has some great like subtle moments, and then obviously the more bombastic moments of him, just really hamming it up. But yeah, I don't know why people. That's interesting. Why do people like look so? Because it's just the sheer amount of it, and then like most of it. I mean, this is arguable, of course, but most of it's like mid. And mid is not necessarily a bad thing. I think when people hear mid and just like automatically think it's bad, but literally mid is middling. Like, and this, I was gonna get into internet slang, but whatever. But yeah, middling, like, 5, 6, like is mid. 5.5, 6. Like it's not necessarily bad, but you get those gems out of like 10 mid to bad movies. You get 4 gems, Anyways, I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know. It was interesting to me. Rumored teasers and trailers expected to be released during the Super Bowl. I don't know what the fuck Roman numerals those are, but next month. So I guess the Super Bowl's in February. And I'm a super casual with sports. I usually like pay attention during the playoffs. But I more so basketball than football, really. But anyways, so the trailers are, and there's only one I really care about here. You can probably guess which one. Deadpool 3, Despicable Me 4, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, A Quiet Place Day 1. Actually, it's kind of 2. I say 1.5. Obviously it's Deadpool 3. If we get a trailer next month, that's about to be fire. I was trying to think of a word I was gonna say, like, I don't know, bananas or some shit. But yeah, that's about to be fire if we get a Deadpool 3 trailer next week, and we just really get a look and to see what's going on. It's probably just gonna be like a teaser. And we'll probably get like a full trailer later. But oh man, I want to see Hugh Jackman in the classic or at least variation of the classic Wolverine costume in motion and in actual and not fucking leaked in and stuff. That's the thing about leak culture. Is that like this is not a new point or anything, but is that ruining movies? Like knowing all this stuff? To me, not. I mean, to me, it's cool to hear about, but there is like worth in in that surprise, you know, just like imagine you just went into either they showed in the trailer or whatever, but imagine you just into Deadpool 3 and just didn't know any of the Fox characters were coming, or you just didn't know fucking Wolverine was gonna be in the classic suit, and you just seeing that for the first time, bro. You're losing your shit. Same with like the No Way Home stuff and like Andrew Garfield and stuff, being into it and being in it. Like imagine just seeing that for the first time, you know? Cause like when that setup was happening with like Ned when he was making the portals and stuff, I was like, okay, this is how they're gonna do it. Like this is they're looking for a Peter that he's gonna actually bring in the other Peters. So I saw that, and the moment was still hype as fuck, but it was just like I saw that coming because obviously I knew it was in there, so I was just waiting for it and what point in the story would make the most sense for them to show up in, and that was like the point. Um, but and speaking like surprising like the same movie, I heard there was rumors that Daredevil, Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox was going to be in it, but I didn't see. Apparently, there was like a screenshot going around of his stick, like his walking stick, and I didn't see that, and so I just like heard rumors, and I was like, and this was still really early days, like is Charlie Cox coming back as Daredevil? Is the Netflix stuff canon? Like it was really like in those days, and so I was like, yeah, I don't think they're gonna make the Netflix stuff canon or bring Charlie Cox back. So that was a genuine surprise for me, and that was hype as fuck, bro. Oh my god, when he sets his stick down, I was like, whoa, like they just really did that. But yeah, and so I'm pretty excited for a Deadpool 3 trailer. So hopefully that does drop next month. I think it would just be a teaser, but it'll be cool to see. A Quiet Place Day One though. Oh, this is from I didn't. I've been saying my sources. um, this is from Cryptic for 4K quality. Yeah, I mean take this with a grain of salt. But A Quiet Place Day One. I haven't seen any of the Quiet Place movies, but I'm really interested in like the universe that they're building. Like this is the third movie, so in this Day One, I'm pretty sure it's like the when the aliens first attack or whatever. So that's pretty interesting. So I might get into those. I've been trying to get my shorty to watch them, but she's really not budging on it. So I might just do that myself. Yeah. So that's pretty much it on that. The next piece of news. Okay, we don't have a bunch of DCU developments this week. Sadly, I love talking about the DCU and just speculating and being hopeful about that universe or whatnot. But anyways, I didn't know where to put this in the gaming or in the movie section, but I just do it in the movie section. Movie section since there is already um a bunch of gaming stuff. Games that will be canon additions to the DCU have started development. This is from WB Games. I didn't see an article leaked to this or anything. Probably could have. Yeah, I don't feel like looking it up, but I probably could have found the article if I looked, but didn't really feel like it. So the thing with this, so we really stopped getting movie, movie tie-in games, for a couple of reasons. One, they're usually buns bonanza, like they're fucking ass, and then two, especially nowadays, to make a tie-in game, obviously it takes, yeah, I don't think that's a wrong statement. It takes longer to make a game than a movie. Yeah. I feel like that's the right statement. But with that being so, you need the script of the movie before the movie is probably even put out or even starting to be made or whatever. So it's just really, especially like nowadays with all like how much rumors and leaks and stuff, it's very easy to like to leak the whole script for the movie if you're like sharing it to multiple like places and stuff, and stuff can get copied and shifted off to yeah, you get it. But and so tie-in games really weren't a thing. I think the last movie tie-in game that I played was, could be wrong about this, but Amazing Spider-Man 2. I really like the first Amazing Spider-Man game. I talked about it when I talked about the best and worst games, but um yeah, and that game was like what was, I'm trying to remember how like closely it tied in, because I know it was like Carnage was in that game, and you also fight Green Goblin. I don't really remember. But yeah, so this could be good and bad. So one, where like how canon are these games? Like, are they actually gonna put like canon lore and whatnot in like in these games that like are pivotal to the movies? Like, if you gotta fucking now go fucking watch a game summary to understand a movie, which I don't think. I feel like James Gunn is smarter than that, because he seems to like really know how to toe the line of making like a standalone thing, but also like it tying into the broader universe, or just understands the importance of standalone stuff. He Yeah, so it's like, is this gonna be tied in? Like, are we gonna like, maybe if we get like, just for instance, Superman Legacy comes out, and the next Superman movie is like 3 years ahead of time skip. Like, are we gonna get like a game set in that like middle part 3 years to explain some of that or something like that? Or are the games gonna be the another downside? Are the games gonna be like super restricted to what's going on in the universe and not be able to um actually play and introduce new ideas? Like, are they gonna be tied, like strictly tied to the movies and stuff? And so this will be interesting to see develop and see if it will actually work. um I really hope we get a Superman game though at some point, like a Flash game, Superman game, or just anything, bro. I'm kind of tired, and I love these games, but I'm kind of tired of just dealing with Batman and the Bat family and stuff. Like, can we get some more interesting characters? And not to say they're uninteresting, but like, fucking a Martian Manhunter game on Mars or some shit, or Mars and Earth, or a deep space Superman game where he's fighting. The gameplay makes a little bit more sense. He's fighting enemies like as strong as him and whatnot. Or a Green Lantern game with some cool constructs and stuff. Like, come on, can we get some innovative things out of the DC brand on the gaming side? Like, it just doesn't have to be strictly Batman stuff. Um, yeah, like what? Let me look up the DC games right now. It's like mainly, I know like we got some Superman games like on the PS2 and stuff. I think like Superman like Fight for Apocalypse or something like that. Yeah, like we've gotten Injustice and stuff, but that's like a fighting game, and it's not really super. Yeah. But yeah, DC Universe Online, Arkham Knight, Lego Batman, like the Lego games, and then Batman Arkham Origins. Why is Wolf Among Us on here? Oh, is that DC? I think. And it's like a bunch of Batman stuff, really. Oh, the old Teen Titans game, Batman Beyond, Batman, Superman Apocalypse. Like, why is Scribblenauts on here? What the fuck? Oh, Scribblenauts Unmasked, a DC comic adventure. I fuck with Scribblenauts when I was younger, like really tough. But it's just like a bunch of Batman shit. Yeah, and then like all the stuff that's not Batman is like some like mobile game shit or 3DS, or not a AAA like shit. But yeah, that's where like Suicide Squad Killer Justice League comes in. Not Batman, like shit. That's why I'm one of the driving forces on why I'm excited for that. But yeah, like a Flash game or something. Like one was like one thing I seen like, oh, like a Flash game would never work. Like, you can't like do his speed correctly and da da da. That's a really good point about like racing games. Like, that stuff is still like manageable in like the speed, and you're not overwhelmed by it, and and so that can definitely be incorporated to the Flash. But yeah, more of the story is I want to see more DC games outside of Batman, and then also, will this work? Being tied to the movies and whatnot. But we will see. We will see. I don't know why I was saying see like that, but the next bit of news is some Star Wars news. This. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie is in the works. Jon Favreau is set to direct with a theatrical release planned. And then like some updates on the Mandalorian show, or I guess the movie and the show. The movie was made priority during the strikes. This is from the Hollywood Reporter, by the way. Could lead to sequel films if successful. It's based on audience reception and how much money it makes. Dave Filoni is helping write this. Excuse me. Dave Filoni is helping write the script. Season 4 scripts are all written, but unclear if it will happen. Okay. Okay. Look, this has potential to be good. I mean, like I've been, say numerous times, anything has the potential to be good. But with the performance of season 3, and then with Ahsoka and what else? Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan show, I just don't have a bunch of faith in like the, I would say, quote unquote mainline Star Wars shows. Like, all those shows are like pretty connected together. Um, and then you get Andor, and then you get like Tales of the Jedi, which are fucking great, and then Star Wars Visions, which are really enjoyable. The Mandalorian season 1 and season 2 had a lot of sauce. I think season 2 was starting to lose it a little bit, but season 1 was really, it was goated with the sauce, if that's what the kids say. But it was really fire, to be honest. Like the cinematography, the shots, the framing, the music, the I think the music's probably pretty much the same throughout the series, but just in the story has always been super simplistic, written like not like quote unquote super layered. I don't know if that's the right terminology. Like it was just pretty straightforward, which isn't a bad thing at all. It's like, there's some value in simplicity, and then on top of that, like I said, it has like great visuals and music and whatnot, great performances and stuff, and so it really comes together really well. And then as you start to and then that's what was like great about season 1 is like really low key bounty hunter stuff, like not like super tied into it was obviously tied into the universe. You're dealing with the fall of the empire and whatnot, and what that looks like for numerous people and whatever, and from the perspective, but it wasn't like, dealing like going into the force and dealing with those like grander things, more mystical things. And then as it starts to go forward, we get more and more into that, and I feel like it loses some of its flair, or some of its magic per se, dealing with that type of stuff. It's not like I didn't like seeing that stuff and seeing that stuff develop with Grogu, seeing fucking Luke come back at the end. But I don't know, like those Mandalorian just lost a lot of sauce, and then with with season 3, that shit was just buns, 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 buns. There's of course some highlighting moments, but just as a whole, bro, maybe it's just so underwhelming. Like from the writing perspective, I'm trying to like remember season 3. That shit just like washes over me. Oh my. It's like like a wave. I like was blocking off of my brain, and I just opened the floodgates. The wave of bad Mandalorian fucking season 3 visuals entered my brain. Like, oh my god, they were like set on this beach this whole time, and it was like, bro, you can set these guys base anywhere you like pick, like from a creation standpoint, and you pick this ugly ass beachfront that is mostly shot during the day, like on the volume or whatever, and it just looks so bad, and it's just the choice for it is so baffling. And it's like, what's funny about it is like they'll be on that same beach from my memory, or like in the same type of locations at like dusk or nighttime, and it just looks so much better. And that's like obviously like when the volume looks the best, and I've seen it look kind like pretty decent during the day. But it's really, it looks the best when it's like dusk in the nighttime and shit. So it's just confusing when they constantly would set scenes in pure daylight, like knowing this, and they did such. And what's even more confusing about it, oh my god, bro, what's even more confusing about it is they knew this, because in the first like season of Mandalorian and season 2, they're kind of like stepping out their box a little bit more, which again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but they did such a good job at hiding the limitations of the volume, whether that's with like the staging, like because the volume you could only go so far on it, and like, the path would end, like if a character's walking from left to right, the path would end eventually. But they did such, and in season 2, like there's a problem with like an episode like 1 maybe, like you could really feel where that ended, and like really feel the set, and feel that it's a set and not like an actual location, which that's what you're trying to portray. Like it's not a fucking set. This is a fucking I don't know a dark alleyway in the middle of the galaxy or some shit. You know what I mean? And season one just did a really good job at hiding the limitations. I feel like just kind of just stopped caring and it's just like, oh my, these people are gonna watch this regardless type of deal. That's what it felt like to me. Like, but I know that they lost one of the people. Was it Greg Fraser or something? Someone was a big reason on why season one looked so good and they lost him. Whether I don't know, fired him or what scheduling conflicts. I'm not necessarily sure, but after he left, it was starting to go downhill from there. And then the quality of the writing followed suit. That's probably again with Disney Plus not what's it called, having proper writing rooms and whatnot, and how traditionally making a show and just felt like lackluster. Again, there were some highlights in season 3, but so it's like I'm open to see a Mandalorian Grogu movie because I know they can work if handled right. But with the mainline Star Wars shows, and I guess even movies, but I just don't have faith. Like I'm open to it, but I just don't have faith that's gonna be good. But it could be, like are we gonna, is this gonna be like some grandiose story, like kind of like trying to find Grogu's parents or some shit, other species of Yodas in Grogu's race, or is this gonna be back to basics, low key? But can you do that for a whole movie though? I mean, you could like have like a movie sprawling adventure like going that long, but like is that compelling enough for a movie? I mean, I think it is, like if you do it right, of course, but then also you would kind of be going back to the basics of just like, Mando and Grogu hanging out. And did that lose some of its flair, like since season 1? Because that was cool, like seeing that in season 1 and season 2, but it kind of have gotten tired. I think, I mean, if we do, well, let's say like we're not like finding Grogu's parents, or it's not this giant like it's just a low key bounty hunter story or whatever. I feel like with Grogu and how he's getting more involved combat wise, I feel like there's some there to play with. Like he's more of a he's always been like a companion, but like more of a partner than like someone that Mando's watching and keeping an eye on. Like he's more hands on with it, walking around and whatnot, using the Force like regularly and stuff, and actually helping out. And he does help and stuff, but he really started to come into his own in season 3, which that was one of the highlights for me. It was really cool seeing Grogu really grow into his own and whatnot. But yeah, so it's like, is that gonna be a thing? I think they could. Is Asajj Ventress? I don't know why she just popped up in my head, but I feel like you could do something really cool with like, even if it is, I don't mind seeing the Force and like lightsabers and stuff in it, but bring in, I don't know, maybe a former like some Sith that's still running around in the timeline or something, or a Jedi or something like that. I don't know. I just kind of just don't want to see trying to find like Grogu's parents or something, like some big stakes thing. I just kind of want to go back to basics, but will that work for a movie remains to be seen. I have this piece of news right here, but I really don't have much to say. I guess. So David Benoff and DB Wise says they're canceled. See, these are the guys that did Game of Thrones and kind of fucked it at the end because they were too impatient to, and HBO gave them the green light to get more seasons to like finish their story, but they kind of said, fuck it, we're just gonna end it now because they were called to do a Star Wars movie. And so they were just like, yeah, whatever, we're gonna just end this Game of Thrones series that's been going on for years and people have been invested in for years, and that everyone, it seems to be really well regarded. We're just gonna end this really lacklusterly to rush and do Star Wars. And then shortly after that, they were dropped from doing Star Wars because, I mean, it's not a concrete reason, but people speculate it was because the way they handled the end of Game of Thrones and Star Wars wasn't vibing with that. But anyways, they say that their canceled Star Wars movie that they were gonna do was about the first Jedi. It was basically how the Jedi Order started or came to be and why it came to be in the first lightsaber. But Lucasfilm wasn't interested in doing the story. Like I said, they probably just didn't want. I mean, they stopped working with them because they didn't want them. But then also they weren't. It says they weren't interested in doing the story, and that goes to my point of why the fuck is Star Wars so stuck in this like these couple like handful of like 20 years or so, prequels, originals, and then sequels. And I've just been saying, bro, can we move away from that, bro? Can we either go super far in the future or super far in the past? Like we're done with this Skywalker saga. Like the Skywalker saga should have ended after Rise of the Skywalker. Like it should have been done finito. Like that's what makes me like not super interested in seeing a Rey movie of her building her Jedi Academy. Can we just get away from this, bro? Because obviously it's gonna have ties to the Skywalkers and fucking she's Rey Skywalker now. It's gonna have ties to like Leia, Luke, and shit like that. Like, bro, can we get some originality? And I get it. Like, I don't get it actually. Like, I just feel like Star Wars is so much bigger than the Skywalkers, and maybe I was already saying this point, but whatever, bro. I just want to move on because it's pissing me off. Because like, what are you guys doing? A what if Star Wars? Next piece of news is a what if Star Wars? What if version of Star Wars is reportedly in the works at Disney? Again, I don't know why I'm like fucking heavy sighing. Like I don't have to watch any of this, but I mean, I would like to watch it and I would like it to be good, but again, are they actually gonna have some interesting premises, or is it gonna be like, what if fucking Darth Vader didn't hit his head on top of the door in A New Hope? What if fucking Han? What if Greedo shot Han Solo and killed him? Or, actually, that's kind of interesting. What if fucking actually, that would. I'm thinking of interesting shit. I was gonna say, what if Boba Fett didn't fall into the Sarlacc pit or some shit like that? But that could be interesting. But what if fucking Han Solo was turned around in the carbonite and his fucking ass was out instead of like his front part? That was so fucking random. I don't know. They just like the what if concepts for the shows are so boring, or for the most part. So I really hope they come up with something interesting for Star Wars because there could be some interesting shit for Star Wars. I.e., what if Anakin didn't fall to the dark side? That's some simple shit, but it could spawn some great shit. What if Anakin didn't lose to Obi-Wan? He was still fall to the dark side, but he didn't lose. Like what if he killed him, like recruited Luke, was height of his power Darth Vader without the suit handicapping him? Like what would that look like? Oh wait, time out. I hope it's not in the same animation style, which it probably will be. That will be kind of buns bonanza. I don't really like the animation style for What If at all. It's good in motion. I feel like it's really, really smooth in motion, but the style of it, I'm not a big fan. It'd be cool to see if the What If series was in. Oh, that would be super cool. If it was in like that 2D Clone War styles, that old Clone War style, like 2003, or if it's just in the regular Clone Wars Rebel style, I'll be fine with that. But it's probably gonna be in the What If style to be truthful with you. But this is from Daniel Richmond, so grain of salt. But I mean, why wouldn't they do a What If version of Star Wars? And I was gonna say like, isn't that what Visions is? But Visions is like original stories in the Star Wars universe. And this would just be a play on stuff that's already there, but there's a lot to play with though. Even in the sequel trilogy, like let's see, what if Han Solo didn't die? I don't know if that would change much. What if Luke didn't, turn on Ben, quote unquote, get that brief lapse of judgment and ignite his lightsaber? What would that look like? What if Rey went to the dark side? Or what if Rey joined Kylo when he like fuck, what word was I trying to say? Initially made that like proposition to her in The Last Jedi. Like what if they joined together? What if Snoke? So I don't know. There's some really interesting things to play with, and they're probably gonna pick the least interesting shit. So we'll see. We'll see. The next piece of news. This is actually, I mean, not news, but it could spawn some interesting shit. Sorry, I sniffed. Dave Filoni organized a Godzilla -1 screening at Lucasfilm HQ with Q&A from director Takashi Yamazaki. So when I think it was when I was revealing Godzilla -1, I think I said Takashi, the director of Godzilla -1, he wanted to, like, one day, it was his dream to direct a Star Wars film. I'm not super familiar with his work, but obviously I really really liked his work on -1. So I'm down for him to do something Star Wars, but this could be opening that door for talks to him, directing a Star Wars film, which I would think would be really interesting. Um, Again, just let him, if he does, just let him go super far in the future, super far in the. I keep saying this, bro, because I really do want it. Like, get away from all this shit. And just let him work, let him cook something original. I feel like that would be very interesting. This is from Kaiju14 or something on Twitter. Not sure how reliable this source is, but I guess take this with a grain of salt. But I mean, like, but who would? I would think there would be point in lying and about a fucking screening about for Godzilla 1 at Lucasfilm HQ. Like, well, okay. Now into some regular movie shit, and not, I still I guess geek shit, but not nerdy shit or as whatever. Some regular movie news. This one was interesting because it was like, does this actually happen? But an anonymous Emmy voter has admitted to not watching House of Dragon. House of Dragon. Is it just House of Dragon? I thought it was House of Dragon. House of the Dragon. I'm tweaking. House of the Dragon, and plans to vote against it. You couldn't pay me to watch that. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I was like saying. Is this like a thing? Like, do Emmy voters not have to like watch everything on that's being nominated? Like, I would think you would have to, right? So you can properly give your opinion and vote, right? Because it literally says for drama series for Emmys, it says I ruled out half the nominees immediately, but this is still the strongest single category in the history of Emmys, and I agonized over the other four. I had zero interest in The Crown. I watched the first season because my wife asked me to. Then I was done. You couldn't pay me to watch You couldn't pay me to watch House of the Dragon. I was a Game of Thrones person, but I watched 10 minutes of this and read the reviews, and it just seemed like a money grab. I devoured the first season of Yellow Jackets, but it jumped the shark in season 2. I love Bob Odenkirk, not as much the first season. Yeah. Basically, he goes to say, like, Andor didn't feel like a money grab for Star Wars, but House of Dragon did. Yeah, so it's just, I would think that, like, a lot of people, I guess a lot of people still like take stock in award shows. I mean, like, for an artist perspective, of course, they take stock in it. It's like celebrating your craft and whatnot. But I'm saying, like, I see a lot of people say, like, awards don't matter and whatnot and da-da-da. I'm on the field, so I can't really speak on that. But, I mean, it's just like, I don't know, it's just really baffling to me. Like, is this what goes on in the award shows, and this is why, like, people don't have, like, respect for them, or some of them? I don't know. That's just really interesting to, like, admit that, especially as, like, a voter. Like, geez. The next piece of news: Mia Goth is being sued for allegedly kicking a background actor in the head on the set of Maxine. She then allegedly taunted and mocked and belittled him, daring him to do anything about it. I'm not super familiar about Mia Goth, but this was just some crazy shit, if it is true. Yeah. I mean, I just see a lot of people idolize her, and you shouldn't idolize any celebrity. Like, you don't fucking know them. But yeah, this guy, like, it was already grueling conditions for him. He, like, had to, what's it called? Like, for the scene, lay on the ground with fake blood for, like, hours, and he has, like, where ants were crawling on him, and, like, mosquitoes and shit. And then, they were doing a scene, and, like, Mia Goth was, like, for the scene, was stepping over him, And I guess like on one of the takes, she like was really close to stepping on his head, and he said something about it, and then like the next take or some shit, she like kicked him in the head with her boot, and when he went to like the hold on, he was allegedly he went to like the bathroom, and Mia Goth came in and taunted and mocked him and dared him to do something about it, and uh, he went to the let me see. It didn't say he went to the doctors or anything. So, I mean, I am assuming he went to the doctors because it said something about a concussion. Oh, he said he claimed himself for the concussion, but and then also for the he was contracted to do like 3 days or something, and the studio called him and said they didn't want him to come back for the remaining 2 days. 2 days. So if this is true, she probably said something which is even more shitty and got this person fired over some shit that's her fault. I mean, so if this is true, fuck her. That's some weird shit. Not gonna lie. And what's crazy is I really wanted to because this is the whatever. Actually, that's not a appropriate point for the moment. But yeah, fuck her if that's true. That's weird shit, Especially like an extra. Like, why are you being such a dick? Like, I don't know. People who just lack compassion or just are antagonistic like this, if this is true, are just so like to me. I just hate bullies, to be honest. Like, if you do some bully shit around me, I'm not gonna lie, I might smack the shit out you, depending on the situation. I'm not gonna lie. That's just so ugly to me, bro. I like hate bullies so much. Um. Okay, I was talking about Taraji P Henson last week, and she was being treated unfairly on the set of Color Purple. I don't know why. Anyways, but I didn't know about this. So 50 Cent has like this. He has a couple shows on the Stars Network. He has like Raising Kanan, which is a part of like the Power universe. The show called Power is about like drug dealing and some crazy shit and whatnot. Pretty good, really good show actually. I really like Power. And then it spun off into Ghost. It was about like his son or whatever. Um, I was watching that, fell off on that, but he has a show called Raising Kanan that I really like a lot. I really like so Raising Kanan, he's like a character in Power, and it's just like his origin or whatever. Roche Raquel. There's a character like called like Raquel or something, but I really like the actor for that character, actress for that character. She does really really good. I was watching that show with my shorty, and then she started the second season or the third season, whatever, without me, bro. I was pissed. So I haven't watched the new season because I was watching with her, and I just really didn't have a desire on my own to go watch it. But anyways, 50 Cent talks. He made a statement, I guess, about working with Taraji, and people thought he was just making just yapping. But nah, he's like said he was serious. This is from like his Instagram, but he said he was serious, and he was like, if you guys don't think I'm serious, ask Mary J. Blige what I made Stars pay her for Ghost to be on Ghost. And so I've never heard any like black actors compare about their pay with him. So if they end up like doing something, Taraji, if 50 Cent ends up getting Taraji on one of these shows, hopefully it's Raising Kanan because that's the one I like the most going right now. I'll definitely tap back in for sure. I mean, I fuck with Taraji tough, and her being properly paid for something is great. On top of that, so I don't know. It was just some good news if it comes to fruition on Taraji's side. And I was talking about her last week getting mistreated, so I want to see her get treated well. The next piece of news on corporations being scumbags. Pixar confirms that they will have layoffs this year as they focus on making less content. It reportedly can be as high as 20% of the staff. The Pixar layoffs. So this is from Tech Crunch. If you are interested in this type of stuff, go check that out. Because I'm way less knowledgeable on this, so maybe you would be able to make more sense of it. But the Pixar layoffs reportedly include headcount that was hired for Disney Plus. Hires Disney pushed on Pixar to produce for its streaming division, which hasn't yet turned a profit. So it seems like a case of, again, if you're more knowledgeable on this stuff, go check out the article because what I say might be wrong. It seems like it was like a expanding thing. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, or I might be wrong. I don't think anyone listens to this yet to correct me, but um, it seems like a expanding. They expanded too quickly and stuff, and hired a bunch of people for them getting bigger, but then weren't producing content that make them money, and so they kind of are reevaluating that expansion. It seems like, but it says like Disney pushed on to get to hire more people. So yeah, I don't know. It's just Disney being fucking Disney, fucking scumbags. Yeah, but people losing their job. I just wanted to bring this up. I'm not super knowledgeable in this, but I just wanted to bring this up because people losing their jobs is always bad. It seems like that's happening a lot in these industries, and like the gaming space is going through a really tough time as well. And I think it's only gonna kind of get worse with these triple A games like bubble being ready to burst, since it's not really sustainable. So that might get worse. And then as well, what was I don't know where I was going on the movie side of Jeez. On the movie side of things. It's already 2. The fudge. I've been recording for an hour already. Crazy. On the movie side of things, but yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. Young Mazzino has been cast as Jesse in The Last of Us season 2. So he's in Beef, and that's why I put this in there because I recently watched Beef and I really enjoyed it, and he plays a character in that I liked a lot as well. But I was playing The Last of Us 2 before I even played the first one because I kind of like got the gist of that, like how that story ends and whatnot. I'm not saying I shouldn't go back and play it, but I was like, I get it. And I was really like the gameplay of Last of Us 2, so I was like on that. But I didn't watch the show because I like Pedro Pascal a lot, but again, I just didn't really not too invested in the story, so I was like whatever. But with this actor being added, maybe I'll check it out. Because it is a well-made show and people seem to like it, so there's like no reason not to watch it, especially since I don't know the story beat by beat, especially the first one and the second one too. But so I'm interested. It's some crazy shit happens in The Last of Us Part 2, the game. And so that's where season 2 is headed to adapt. So I'm planning to jump on board on this. I know, brought this up because I really like the actor. Maybe I should. Maybe that wasn't worthwhile news. Whatever. Oh, this is gonna be on Prime. Yeah. I'll just group these since these are kind of short pieces of news. I'll group these together. But writing is underway for the God of War series on Prime Video. I brought this up because one, I think I talked about this before, but I wanted to speculate like who could play Kratos. I think it could just easily because I saw like David Harbour. He was like a shaved head and like a beard in one of these pictures, and someone brought that up and did like a side by side comparison. It was pretty spot on. But I mean, I would just would they just get the voice actor because he has the look. I don't necessarily think he like kind of looks like Kratos, but he has the look for it. I think, and he obviously he's the motion capture, and then he has the voice, so I feel like he has the mannerisms and shit. So you can get past the look, but who else is a bald man? I was more interested to see like who would play Sonny, or it's not Sonny, that's the voice actor, but I would assume it would just be him, right? Hopefully he's not too old. Because Atreus does hit a good growth spurt from in the second game, and he's got some more bass in his voice. He's a lot older. In the first game, he sounds super young. So I don't know if the voice actor for Atreus is too old to play like younger Atreus. I definitely know he could play Atreus like in Ragnarok right now, like how he is, but he's a little younger in the first game, which this is starting with. Not like the first game, but the first game of the new series or not even new continuity, but you know what I mean if you know God of War. Sorry if you don't, you're probably lost. But yeah, so that'd be interesting. I'm really like interested to see how this develops, and I feel like God of War is really easy to, if it's done right, it's easy to get right. Like the universe is easy to translate, especially with like the budget of a Prime Video show. I think they could really do something good with their budget and stuff if they handle it right. Let's see. Jacob, the next piece of news. Jacob Elordi Elordi. Yeah, Jacob Elordi, something. He was in Euphoria. He was like in Saltburn most recently, but he's reportedly replacing Andrew Garfield as the monster in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. This was news that hit my heart. I really love Andrew Garfield so much, and him being involved in this project. There's some other really good people involved too. I was fucking pissed with this news. Hold on, let me get some water. Okay, I wouldn't say necessarily pissed, but this is really disappointing. It just seems something super interesting that Andrew Garfield was involved in, and I think he has the best acted Peter Parker out of the Spider-Man. He just really portrays him, has the mannerisms and shit, and he's a really good actor. This Jacob guy, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'm just gonna call him Jacob. I'm sure he's gonna do a good job. From what I've seen him in and stuff, he's a good actor. Like, I don't doubt that he's gonna do fine in the role, but I just really wanted to see Andrew Garfield in this, so that was really disappointing. And I think I know I mentioned this was an anticipated movie of mine, so that's really unfortunate, to be honest. But the show goes on. That's all the movie and show news. So we're gonna head into the gaming section before we get into our main topics. I was gonna look this up, but I did not. Like the car itself, but Sony's new Fila car from Honda can be driven with a PS5 controller. I watched like a short clip of it, but I was like gonna like research like the car or whatever. But I was watching Godzilla. This is surely nothing can go wrong with this, right? You know, with your PS5 controller and the short battery life, your controller just won't die while you're driving, right? Right. But not for real. I don't know how like practical this is. Like, is this where would you what is the practicality of using a controller to drive a fucking car? Like, this is not a remote control car. Like, like maybe I was gonna say, like, if you're like you just have a fucking controller on you at all times. I was gonna say, like, if you're like coming out the store or something and like you don't want to get into your car, you like, I don't know, like pull it out of the parking spot with the controller. I don't know, squeeze into a tight spot so you don't have to be in there or something. Who knows? I don't know why this is a feature. But speaking of PS5 controllers, DualSense, like, you know, the controller version 2 of the PS5 report mysteriously shows up on Best Buy's Canada website. And the controller boasts an exceptional 12-hour battery life. Oh man, I'm all for this. The controllers for, as I mentioned, the PS5 controllers die extremely fast. I swear, bro, my shit dies in like an hour, no cap. Which is super annoying. I mean, it's not necessarily the biggest problem. Like, I'm usually right by my PlayStation anyway, so it's not shit to just plug it up and charge it. But still, like, constantly just getting that alert, like, I don't know, it's just super annoying. And then also, the thing is, like, damn, I'm gonna have to buy another fucking $80 controller just for this a battery life, which should have been on it regardless. So that's kind of fucking annoying. But I'm glad at least they're doing it. Is that like bad consumer mindset? I don't know. I think sitting in this dark room is kind of making me tired and delirious. I don't know why. The Suicide Squad game is getting some bad reviews and from first impressions. I don't know this, like, they let some like journalist websites, like gaming journalist websites, play a couple hours of it. There's like some alpha like gameplay a while ago that people got to play, and like, but there was an embargo on it, or like, you know, NDA, so they couldn't say anything. And then like this came out, like a bunch of reviewers were able to play the game for a couple hours, and they were just like kind of trashing it. And apparently one, like IGN was like one of the big reviews, but the review sucked. Like, he was like just complaining about killing the Justice League in a game about called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I'll get to that in a second. But then also he's just like bad at the game. Like he's like saying the Flash was moving too fast because he's like a boss or something. But the Flash was moving too fast to shoot, and there's like other gameplay clips out there of people easily hitting the Flash while he's running around. So it's like, okay, that's obviously just a skill issue. But I did see some like other concerning things. Like I didn't watch a ton of gameplay because like I just want to kind of go into it. Um, like King Shark was jumping around and he hit, and I guess like I wasn't really sure on the I thought like Poison Ivy was helping the Suicide Squad, but it was like she was like working with Lex Luthor, but I felt like Lex Luthor was didn't want the world to end or something. I don't know. But like the in the world, he's like King Shark's like jumping around and like gameplay and shit. And he like hits the flower and he gets knocked back. And which is fine. Like if the poison ivy plant hurts you, yeah, like whatever. Like you just ran into the plant, but like it didn't even look like he touched the plant, and then two, the plant didn't even react to him touching it at all. So it's like it is this unnatural looking sequence of him running into the plant and like looking like he got knocked back by nothing. And I don't know, it's just little stuff like that. And there's like some like complaints about the HUD being too crowded, like too much going on the screen, which is I don't know, kind of a nothing complaint until like you get hands on with it because this is like a screenshot and it did look busy, but it's like you don't know what that looks like in motion. And obviously it can very well look ugly, but it's like I don't know, it's kind of too early to tell. And maybe I'm just like chatting because I didn't watch the gameplay because they released like a bunch of games. It's like a 26-minute gameplay thing. But then also like people were saying, oh, you could just turn off the HUD or turn off like this or the UI, and it's just like, why should I do that? Like, why should I have to do that? Like the shit should just look nice regardless, and like displayed in a way that makes sense. And then also if you're turning off the HUD and shit, like you're missing information that is meant to be seen. So whether that's like, hit points or, uh objective shits or anything like that, like you shouldn't have to turn off the HUD to like keep it from being so busy. Um but regardless of like this negative or praise or whatever, I'm excited for the game. That's what I was gonna say. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. The only like people are some people are like mad you're killing the Justice League. I really don't care. My thing is it kind of is it and again, this doesn't ultimately matter to me, but it's just like, damn, you didn't really have to do that. But it being set in the Arkhamverse and like, I feel like Arkham Knight ended really well, and this game could have easily been made just adjacent to that, or like, I just don't. There was no reason to set this in the Arkhamverse, in my opinion, besides like the Harley Quinn. I guess you have like a bunch of Riddler stuff, and maybe they'll have like cool like callbacks to those games and whatnot. But I feel like this could have been like loose. Like, what am I trying to say? It could have been the Arkhamverse, but like not the Arkhamverse. You know what I mean? Like maybe this was just like an alternate Earth. I don't know. It just feels like the way Arkham Knight ended, and the lack of Justice League all throughout those games, and the lack of mention of heroes all throughout those games. It just does. It's not really fitting for the universe. But ultimately, I honestly don't care too much. Um, like I said, because Arkham Knight like ended it for me. Like, you know, this is just like some like whatever at this point. Like I'm just interested to see how the story plays out. Like I've been saying, yeah. So that's like my driving force is just the story, and I heard the gameplay is not too shabby either. So I'm looking forward to that. Good, looter shooter or whatever, or whatever the case is gonna be. Good, just some good gameplay in the DC universe, but. Who are you guys gonna main? I think I'm a main. I've been playing this ahead. I was originally going like King Shark, but I really don't like his traversal type shit. He just like jumps kind of high and climbs a wall and whatnot. And like you got fucking Captain Boomerang over here like teleporting and shit or something. For me, it was either gonna be Captain Boomerang, like minusing King Shark, Captain Boomerang, or Deadshot. But then Deadshot is just like super shooty, which is not a bad thing. It'll probably be my second character I play, but I'm leaning towards more towards Captain Boomerang. His gameplay looks really fun. Like his like abilities with his boomerangs, like can like lift people up in the air and make them stationary. You can shoot them and whatnot. I haven't seen everything his shit can do, but you know, I feel like it's a little bit more um variety beyond like guns and grenades and rocket launchers and missiles and shit. You know, so I'll probably fuck with Captain Boomerang. But we'll see. I'll probably be posting that on my channel. I've been sloughing posting Cyberpunk, so maybe I'll just like do both of them at the same time. Um, this is some fucking more gaming fans being weirdos. Stephanie Tyler Jones calls out creepy Spider-Man fans. She was the face model for Mary Jane in Insomniac Games. Getting on the face model stuff. Hold on. Can we all just oh, this is a touchy topic. Not that it matters, because it really does not. Like I can't stress that enough. But can we just like kind of be serious that the face model does look different from Spider-Man 1 to Spider-Man 2? Like, is that like a controversial thing to say? Like, it does look different. Now, I don't think that's fucking a bad thing, like whatever. But it's like, come on, we could be realistic about that. But um and I don't know why that's the case either. Like, why is it to me? Because to me, it's like a drastic difference. But again, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, it's a game model. Like, who cares? But why is it the case on that? But anyways, um, apparently, like some fans like called up to her job and left like some weird messages or like for her or whatever. But people's been super super toxic about the Mary Jane face model and shit, and like just comparing it to like just like ugly things and whatnot, and it does not look that bad. It doesn't look bad at all, but it is different. But anyways, like why can't people just be normal, like why are you harassing, like why do people take this shit so serious? And I say take this shit so serious as I'm making a podcast on this shit. But I don't know, it just aligns with like my interests and shit. But anyways, I don't know. The gaming space is just people in general. Whoa, let's focus on the gaming space. The gaming space is just so toxic, bro. It's like this is a bunch of babies. Like when games get fucking delayed or if shit, granted, like there are valid complaints that you need to be having for this type of stuff, but they just cry over the most little minuscule shit, or they just argue over the most minuscule shit. I even bring up like people were like arguing about the Switch 2, and apparently it's gonna be as powerful as the PS4. People are like, why this is 2024, like why are we accepting a console that's PS4 has the power of the PS4? For one, you fucking idiot, it's a handheld console. So if you don't want something heavy as fuck, like, or that just dies after fucking an hour of playtime, like you're gonna have to scale back on the specs. And then the Switch has never been really about graphics. Like they have already like super stylized games, and that's what's been proven to be standing out. As this is a kind of a point I've been seeing like on Twitter, but as these games like start to get these super realistic graphics, like you're kind of hitting a cap into how well these games look realistically. And so these unique art style games like stuff like Hi-Fi Rush or Zelda like Tears of the Kingdom is really starting to stand out because people are tired of the same old. So, and then people are forgetting that what amazing things the PS4 fucking did. For one, bro, Arkham Knight came out on the PS4. It came out like Arkham Knight came out on last gen hardware, bro, and it's still one of the best looking games like of recent times. Like that game looks so great. We're forgetting Red Dead 2 came out on last gen consoles. Like, come on, bro, that game looks amazing. Ghost of Tsushima came out on the PS4, bro. That game looks phenomenal. Like, base or PS4 hardware is not nothing to sneeze at. Obviously has its limitations, but you could still get some great looking shit out of that. And so, I don't know how concrete the shit on the Switch 2 was. That's why I really didn't include it, but I mean, we're talking about rumors and shit all the time, but I don't know why I didn't include that. But yeah, just gamers, gamers, dude, just take a step. Oh, let me say one thing that really pisses me off about gamers, bro. And it pisses me off like to no end when I see like other like black uh YouTubers or gamers fucking do it too. Um Equating the like N word, like hard R, as like the gamer word. Like, oh my, that literally just grinds my gears so much because like I just feel like that shit's so normalized in like online shit, and it just letting it slide, bro, and just saying the game, oh, just equating it to the gamer word just minimizes it even more. I don't know. That's just super annoying to me because it's like you're not saying this shit in public, bro. Like, so don't say that shit online. Like, I don't know, bro. It's just again gamers being fucking weirdos. Um, Lucasfilm has registered the next piece of news. Lucasfilm has registered the domain name Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Gameplay footage releases January 18th. It's the 14th right now, so that's 4 days. And so this comes from Kirarakis. I don't know this person. Obviously, I don't know any of these people, but this is like a smaller account, and not necessarily that this means anything. But again, take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, I've been hearing about this Indiana Jones game. I fuck with Indiana Jones tough. My dad introduced me to the movies when I was younger, and I really enjoy them. And this, I guess, is like a third person type of deal. I could be wrong about that, but I don't know. Indiana Jones game in my mind with like some Lara Croft, Tomb Raider vibes of those games. I really enjoyed those games with those type of vibes. It could be really, really fun. But this title is really funny. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. What does the Great Circle mean? You mean like a butthole? I don't know. Like a circle to like a portal to somewhere else or something. I'm not sure. But hopefully we do get to see some gameplay on this. I'll be so down to see that. And just to get a more feel on what this game is. I don't even know when it's supposed to be dropping, but definitely on my radar for sure. Before we get into like this like last piece of big news with the AI stuff and the voice actors, before we get into our main topic, T-Pain says he has a role in GTA 6. So there's like he streams a lot, and I think this was like clipped and posted on TikTok or something. But apparently, like there's GTA like role playing, and they use like Grand Theft Auto assets, and they make their own. They build upon it, but they make their own servers. And if you don't know what role playing is, like go look it up. There'd be really funny things spawn from it. I know like T Grizzly, a rapper, he has his own server and he makes hella money off that. Like you have to pay to be in the server. I think it's like maybe a monthly thing, or maybe like a one-time fee. I'm not sure, but it's on the PC side of things. So I just never had access to it, even though I've been like super interested in it. But like T Grizzly has a server, like Kai, Sanat, and like Agent and like AMP, they would be playing on like GTA role playing. I know I was watching Agent play GTA role playing for a while, which is like really was fun to watch while I was like editing and shit. And there's other like role playing and shit. Those are the only ones that really came to my mind. A bunch of celebrities and shit. I was watching Babyface Ray role play GTA role play. That shit was funny. It's just like so random, like fucking Babyface Ray hopping on stream to play GTA role play. That's just hella funny to me. But yeah, he was playing in the GTA role play servers and shit, and apparently he was doing some work with on GTA 6. And they reached out to him and said, because GTA, like Rockstar hated GTA roleplay because it, like, it was doing better shit with their assets, like they would have like, obviously it's a licensing things, but even like physics, not necessarily physics, but even no, it's like like life things. So they would just make it more realistic. Like you have to get gas and shit. Not necessarily like this is what they're going for, but you would have to get gas and shit, and then like little shit like that. You would be able to like call people and like actually call them, like text them and shit. Can you do that in like GTA Online? I'm not sure, but you would have like real guns and like real sounding guns, real sounding cars, real cars and shit like that. I can't maybe but I don't know the exact reason, but just Rockstar did not fuck with GTA role playing for a while. But so they told T Pain, you can't do that stuff anymore since you're working on GTA 6. But then like more recently, Rockstar like partnered up, or like I'm not sure, like bought them and like folded in and like made it official, but embraced the role playing side of things. And I think there's like this, I wouldn't say company, but people who are like the front runners of the role play shit, like fully embraced them and whatnot. And like T Pain was saying, they told me to stop playing and they did that. And I was like, he was just like, what the fuck, bro? Like I did not need to stop like role playing and stuff. But it's just funny. So, like, what is T Pain's role going to be in GTA 6? Is this going to be a quick cameo? Is it going to be like maybe a reoccurring side character or what? But I really like T Pain. He streams a lot. I haven't really watched any of his streams, but I always see clips and stuff, and T Pain just has a good vibe. I just really like him a lot, and I just wanted to include that. But next piece of news that is more important, or it's important, but the SAG-AFTRA has signed a deal for AI use in video games. This is an evolutionary step forward, as they say. So this, I need to read more up on this, but I just wanted to bring the info to the forefront. So apparently, like when this news broke, a lot of one person. Let me see. I follow them on my main account. Let me go to my main account. I really like this guy. He makes really good YouTube videos, and let me see. It's like his name's like Maurice, maybe Maurice. It's like Brown Table. I know that's like his YouTube name. Oh, here it is. It just says Mao. I don't know if his name's Maurice. I swear that I don't know. But he's an artist and animator. Like I said, he makes really good YouTube analysis video. He has his own anime that he's making called Interstellar Ranger Commence. Interstellar Ranger Commence. It's an indie anime. It's pretty cool. I haven't checked it out, but it's pretty cool that he's doing that and he's pursuing that. But he's just a big advocate for just animation and AR artists, like the not the use of it, the opposite of that. I don't know the words for it, but anyways, but he was like speaking on this, and then like he was putting on my TL just like a bunch of voice actors that were like blindsided by this AI use in like voice acting in video games. And so this wasn't like I'm just like trying to explain this in a way that like I don't really get, but or in something I don't really necessarily understand. But from my understanding, when all this stuff was, the strikes were going on for the movies and stuff, like there was a very big talk about AI, and they did their regulations on it or whatnot, and came to an agreement to not use it, or at least in like the capacity that the studios were wanting to. But then that just got shifted to the video game shit, and they just did it over there, which was like went under everyone's radar after all the strikes and shit, after all the dust settles. Like this kind of went super unnoticed, and I don't know, it just kind of sucks. Like you're fighting for all this, and then like as soon as you get what you want, like you kind of don't care about this other part of the industry, Yeah, it just sucks, I don't know exactly what the regulations are and what they're like planning. Or the article, it was saying though, like this is for let me just skim through it again. Digital voice replicas, to be used for other projects and whatnot. And then like they were saying like they could opt out to have their voices not be used for other projects and stuff, but that's a slippery slope with dealing with studios and them trying to fuck people over and do slick shit and whatnot. But it just, it seemed to come out of nowhere, so that kind of sucks. But then also like Steam pages, like I guess of games, like when you're about to buy a game on Steam, they will now disclose which games use AI generated content, and they have like two broad categories for this, and one's like stuff that are in AI that's in the game, Like I think Moist Critical played like an AI game one time, so I would fall under that category. Like the NPCs responding to you with AI generated responses, and then like pre-generated content like that are used in like code and to help the development of the game. All that's to like be disclosed, and that will help people make that decision if they want to buy the game or not. And then also I saw a tweet. It says friendly reminder. This is from the Twitter account that brought it to my attention. Is from Simon at SimonC3. It says friendly reminder that your favorite voice actors hate those funny AI covers. Here's Roger Clark, the voice of Arthur Morgan from Red Dead 2, talking about it. And like those videos of like celebrities singing, like AI celebrities singing like a cover or to a song or speaking, like those. Oh, those were funny. But like those Joe Biden and Trump memes where they were like playing Minecraft and shit, stuff like that. Someone's like said on TikTok to the voice actor of Arthur Morgan, I just had Roger Clark. It was like, oh, I bet you find those like super funny. He's like, no, like those are damn near like plagiarism. Like those aren't funny. And he's like, if you guys do think those funny and indulge in those, it's not very far off that's all is gonna be around, And that's true. And I've seen like this point come up multiple times on Twitter. I always bring up Twitter like for a source of news, but it does really bring a lot of things to the forefront, especially stuff that like you're interested in. And whether you go research it outside of that or just take that at face value, that's on you. But it does put a lot of good stuff in your face. What was I saying about that? Oh fuck. What was I saying about that? I was saying about voice covers. Ah, fudge. I lost the plot, man. Lost the plot. I don't know. Anyways, that's bad, bro. And I hope they get a handle on that or whatever. But let's get into no comic book news. Ultimate Spider-Man. That's for the main topic. I guess actually there's this Ghost Rider comic that is coming out, I think in March or something. It was in the Ultimate Spider-Man when I was reading it. It was like in one of like the ad pages in the comic, and it looked cool, interesting. I fuck with Ghost Rider as a design, and he looks cool as shit, and I just want to learn more about him regardless. So I might check that out if it's a good starting point for new readers. But yeah, let's get into our main topic this week, Monarch. So I'm gonna do a review on Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. My first impressions on Echo, and my first impressions on the Ultimate Spider-Man comic that just came out on January 10th, I believe. We're gonna start with what do I want to start with? Because Echo and Ultimate Spider-Man kind of first impressions, so I will just start with Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. First and foremost, there will be spoilers for all of these, but I'll do spoiler free first, and I'll let you know when spoilers come in. So yeah, Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. This is like a show set in 2015. I'm just trying to figure out the timeline in my head. I think sometime after the first movie, before the second movie, but sometime after the first movie, when Godzilla, first appears and whatnot. I really like that movie a lot, but this show's dealing with like how, let's see, how everyday people were affected from the monster attacks, and I feel like it's a really good look into that. But and it just goes throughout kind of like that early history of Monarch. So Monarch is a secret organization that studies the Titans. It's what they call like the big monsters, like Godzilla in the MonsterVerse. But like the secret organization studying them, and basically this is the founding of that and the people involved in and how that plays in, and the people affected by Godzilla's rampage and stuff. And that's like the gist of it. It came on Apple TV. It just wrapped up. I would highly recommend this show. One, I think it's just a good show in general. But then two, if you really enjoy the MonsterVerse and like Godzilla x Kong, Godzilla King of Monsters, the original Godzilla, and all that stuff, go check this out for sure. It's definitely worth the watch, in my opinion. But I really liked it because, again, this is spoiler free. I'll let you know when I get into spoilers. I really liked it because I think it does a good job at really giving not necessarily context, but it does a good job at like tying in and weaving in and out of the movies and setting up stuff that will, you know, be in future movies that already came out. It really lays the groundwork for that type of stuff. But also I really like this because it has a really good human narrative, and that's really been missing from, would you say, Western? Because like Shin Godzilla, which is like the Toho Japanese Godzilla stuff, and like minus one has really strong human elements in my opinion. More so minus one. I think Shin, it's like kind of boardroom stuff, which I'm not necessarily interested in, but it's still compelling. But this just does a really good job at has a really compelling human narrative, which I enjoyed a lot. And then also, what was unique about this show is it had Wyatt Russell and Kurt Russell, which is Wyatt Russell's Kurt Russell's son, and they look, it's his fucking son. They look alike, and so they had Wyatt Russell play a younger version of Kurt Russell's character, and it was a cool thing. Like they would just have they would have flashbacks between his time in the past and his time in the present, and it was just a cool concept, and I think they really executed it well. One thing I will, and then so yeah, it's a really compelling human element that I liked a lot. I'll get to more than that in spoilers, but I really like the monsters in this too. So if you're going into this expecting like monsters out the woo wall, monsters galore, it's not that, and it's not about that. But I feel like when the monsters do show up, and the monsters they do show are really are really hard hitting. Like they are really placed well. There's like at least one monster in each episode. So that's has that going for it. But if you're going to this thinking like it's Monsters Bonanza, it's not. But I feel like the human element definitely is strong enough to hold it up until then. One thing I will say about the human narrative is I felt like kind of that they knew that the human story was lacking in the other movies, and so they kind of just made it as dramatic as possible to really get that us attached to the characters, and it does work for the most part. But I just feel like when some shit was like being revealed, I was just like, okay, they're just going with like the most dramatic shit in scenario here. But and then also I feel like okay, I feel like this show works way better if you're able to binge it, because there's a lot of flashbacks and like a lot of you spend some time in the past, you go to the present, and then like there's flashbacks in the present, and then there's flashbacks within the flashbacks. So I feel like it gets a little, and hold on, I think it does a good job at like keeping that narrative, that through line narrative, and it makes it coherent. But there are quite a bit of flashbacks, and at least for me, I didn't watch it completely week to week, but like I would let a couple episodes build up, then I would watch them. But it kind of was like hard remembering some shit sometimes with just the constant flashbacks and stuff. So I think this would be a much better show to binge. And now that it's over, if you haven't watched it, definitely hop on it and binge it. I feel like it would be more digestible that way. But it's I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's a really well shot show. Like the cinematography is I mean it's not necessarily super outstanding, but there's some really good shots in it. And then the budget though first, so the monsters look really well, and I think that's obviously where the budget went into. And it kind of sometimes you would have like some shoddy CG, some shoddy like green screen backgrounds type shit. It doesn't really bother me a whole lot. What would bother me more if like the monsters look bad, and they do look really good, and then the creatures that they do have, I feel like are really interesting too. Super minor spoiler. Like there's this like monster that like kind of freezes stuff, and then the way they like portray that and the way they do that with it is really interesting. And then the other monsters, and obviously like Godzilla and stuff, look really good as well. And then there's a monster fight at some point, and that looks super good. I love the choreography on that, and then the camera work on it was really fun too. Let me see. I'm trying to think of some stuff to say that are not spoilers. The Wyatt Russell Crowe stuff was really well done. I feel like from the comedy, uh, I don't know. I really have like a dry sense of humor, so I like a lot of I laugh and giggle a lot of at a lot of stupid stuff, and I really like the comedy for the most part. It's of course not going to land with everyone, but yeah, the comedy I liked it for the most part. But one thing I was gonna say though is like episode 4. I think it's episode 4, bro. Like it's super like stylized and like the transitions are super creative and everything. And I really really like that episode. That might be my favorite episode, really. Besides the last one, I think the last one's really fun too. But then you go from episode 4 and then you go for episode 5 and it just was like super like comedic and felt like slapstick and shit. It was a really weird tonal, not weird, not really weird, but it was like a tonal shift that was like kind of was like, oh, what the fuck. So yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I should bring that up. Oh, and then I like by like, the end of it, and like you have these like the past narrative and the present narrative, like it really pays off by the end and really comes together in my opinion, and it works. I think I mentioned it before, but I like how it really lays the seeds for future stuff that pops up in other movies and whatnot. And shoot, do I have anything to say without spoilers? I don't really think so. But so yeah, now going into spoilers for Monarch: A Legacy of Monsters. um, what do I want to spoil? 'Cause I kind of like went over everything, but there's some stuff that I definitely. Okay, so this show does a really good job. So if I'm not mistaken, it lays the groundwork for the machine that's in Godzilla 2, that like shit that can communicate with the monsters or act like as a calling thing for them, like that, like sphere shit. That was like the groundwork for that, right? I'm pretty sure. And so that was super cool. And then fuck, what else did they like kind of allude to? There was that, and then there was something else. Hold on, let me think. Oh yeah, that's what it was. The stuff to make Mecha Godzilla, because one of the characters. Oh, I didn't. That's why I really didn't talk about like the other characters and stuff. But I talked about the compelling human narrative. But I'll talk about them in spoilers. But one of the characters, she works like in code and whatnot. She's working for this one company that like is doing like exoskeleton stuff and to help people walk. But then like the head of the company or whatever wanted to get into start seeing like the big monsters, exoskeletons, thinking that can help them with their research. And so I'm pretty sure that's like the groundwork for. It's Apex or whatever. And I think I'm a little bit more shoddy on like Godzilla Kong and Godzilla King of Monsters, but I'm pretty sure Apex is the company that makes like Mecha Godzilla and stuff. So that's like the groundwork for that, which is really cool. And then you set up the Hollow Earth stuff. And did they visit the Hollow Earth in Godzilla 2 or X Kong? I'm honestly not sure. But yeah, seeing that stuff was really cool. Are any of the characters in Monarch Legacy in any of the Godzilla movies? I'm honestly not sure. But yeah, so like I was saying how in the human narrative, they would just make shit drama for drama's sake. Like, all right, I liked how the story peeled back and was layered, but and like eventually paid off. But the reveals, some of them just didn't work. Like when Kate, it was like, her, like how that shit slowly revealed she's a teacher. And then like she lost her partner in the G-Day event. And then, and then it's revealed she was cheating on her partner. And I feel like stuff like that was like, okay, that was the sake for just drama. But then that kind of just plays into her like, not wanting to feel like she's worthy of being saved and whatnot. So maybe that's a mute point. Maybe that's not a really solid point. I feel like I had some more examples, but honestly, I'm blanking on them. Should have wrote them down. Probably should have did that, Dennis. But anyways, I really just like how everyone was like really flawed in some way, and I really like the Maze character. the black girl that was like, hiding a lot of stuff. Her I really liked her character. It did get a little like towards the before she like turned like fully good. Um, her selfishness did get a little bit annoying, but all throughout there, through like before that part, it made sense. Like she was like, bro, you niggas are tripping. Like I don't want to do this. Like she was just, she was just kind of like always expressing that, and I was like, yeah, I'm on the same page as you type shit. Like she was just being rightfully selfish type shit, like out of like in some stories, like people just like are just stoic out of nowhere, just automatically stoic. Like she had to build that up, and get to that point. I really enjoyed that with her character. um but her story, I felt like they were kind of like a little too slow to like reveal what was happening along there, because I feel it was a lot of secret phone calls and her like just being super secretive. And I'm like, okay, bro, can we like develop that? And like again, that's where like I feel like I really like the layering of it, but like that was like an aspect of it that was a little bit too slow. But I feel like all the other layering, like how they would slowly reveal what was happening and stuff, and like how that related to like the present and the past and stuff was super cool, or was handled really well. And I don't know, do flashbacks bother a lot of people? I feel like if I binge this show, it wouldn't bother me as much. Um, but I feel like there is something to be said about it. But again, it's a really interesting concept with Wyatt Russell and Kurt Russell, so I feel like it ultimately gets a pass in my eyes. Because like, how else are you gonna tell that type of narrative, you know? So it didn't really bother me a whole lot. But there was this really cool shot of like old Kurt Russell. He was like watching some old tape. He was in captivity or something of Monarch, and there was some old tape of him when he was younger, obviously played by his son Wyatt Russell, and like it's on this projector, right? And he walks on like to the projector, and it's lined up with his son. It's just a really cool shot, and obviously a look alike, so it just matches up super well. And it's a really creative shot, and I feel like that shot was like the whole basis of this whole concept, which I'm not complaining. I mean, that's me just yapping, but that probably is not the case. But I feel like that was like part of the main pitch. um let's see. May, I really liked her character. Kentaro, is that his name? I really so them having like a dad that's was having an affair with their mom, I feel like made sense. And then how they tied it into Lee being in, or Shaw being in the hospital and meeting it was at the mom, right? That was meeting the mom like at the hospital, and just how that played out. Oh, that's what it was with Kate's mom, when they went back to Kate's house and she brought Kentaro and stuff, and that whole moment of it was a really well acted, and this is really 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 well really where the human element shine the most. When she was bringing her, is estranged the right word, her sibling, with the other lady, to her mom's house, and then her mom acting like she was fine with it and just being like overly nice and stuff, and you get to see on her face like she's not, what's up with this. And then like they have that really a hard conversation to have, and like Kate has with her mom, like you don't have to be okay with this, like you don't have to let him in your house, like speaking of the son, which is valid, like, but she's just it seems like she's a really really nice lady. And so she's like, mom, like you can cry and stuff, and like the whole time the son Kentaro is hearing this conversation. Is just like, it was just it felt like I was intruding on a moment, while watching that. Like I wasn't supposed to like how he was feeling. Like he wasn't supposed to hear any of that. Like, and just to see also how they were living after G-Day, and just the aftermath, and like how people were so broken and stuff. It's just, and it's because it's interesting. And in the first Godzilla movie, they kind of like make it a point of him purposely not trying to hurt people. Like there's a point where he tries to go under the bridge or whatever, and he ends up destroying his, like the army starts shooting at him, but like he's purposely avoiding shit. So you're like, oh man, Godzilla's like he's a good guy. But then you still see that aftermath of him destroying lives, and then Kate losing all those kids on the bus. Like that shit, like it's compelling and it's really interesting to watch, to be honest. And that human element really shines in this, and that does not shine in the other movies. And what I was gonna say is, like, I wish these characters were kind of like the focus of the movies, the MonsterVerse movies. I feel like that would have been interesting right from the start. Like if it kind of started with this legacy thing of, obviously it wasn't planned at the time, but I feel like going forward, like, I don't know, these movies, I feel like these characters are, and then obviously you have more time to develop them over the show and whatnot, but I feel like right off the bat, they're easily more enjoyable and more interesting than any of the human characters that we've got in these MonsterVerse films. Besides Bryan Cranston, I really liked him, but yeah. What else in the spoilers? Kate, a relationship with her mom and her dad. Wyatt Russell. I really liked everyone's performances, especially Fudge, the grandmother, of Kate and Kentaro. Her actress is really well. Let me just look up the cast and give some proper shout outs, If you don't know, now you know. Let's see. What the cast is looking like. What is she from? Did she play the character that played May, Kiersey Clemens? She was in Black Adam, right? She played she was in Swarm. Damn, she's in a lot of stuff. She be booked and busy. Let me see. She Justice League. No, she doesn't play. She plays Iris. That's who she plays. Yeah. She plays Iris. We don't really see much of her. She was in Dope. Oh yeah, she played his like one of the main friends. The Flash. Oh, Iris. Duh. I literally just said that. Yeah. She's a really good actress. I like her a lot. She's in Neighbors. I just watched that. I did not see her. She's in Neighbors too. I know that's about the sorority, so maybe she plays a bigger role in that. I'll probably be checking that out because I was watching the first one with my girl. So gotta get to the second one. But yeah, she's really good. Oh, back to the cast. That's what I was doing. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Because I was talking about the grandmother. I really enjoyed her. Anna Saiwa. Fuck, I'm pronouncing that right. As Kate, Miranda. Obviously got Wyatt Russell. Kurt Russell as Lee Shaw. Mary Yamamoto. Yeah. Keiko. She was really, really good. Ren Watabe as Kentaro. Andres Holm as William Rhonda. Elsa Laswowski as Duvali. I really liked Joe Tippett as Tim. I feel like he was fun. Christopher Heyerdahl as General Puckett. He was super fun. I can't see the rest of this cast. Why? Oh, because why? The lady who played Kate's mom is really good. I'm trying to find her, but this cast list is not extending. Hold on. Show more. Where is she? I don't think. What the fuck? She's not popping up. All right, but she's really good. Sorry, I'm not shouting out your name, but she's really good as well. Where was I going with this? I really liked all the performances. Oh yeah, so that I really liked the monsters that they showed. They showed like the ice one, that was really cool. The bunch of ants and stuff. So there was some stuff in a crab one in like the first episode. And again, the monsters definitely, there could have been more, but that wasn't really the point of the series, so I really wasn't too fussed about that. And the stuff that we did get, I liked a lot. Like we seeing like Godzilla get nuked for the first time. And this this show, it did a good job. It did a good job at like showing Godzilla in the past and actually making him look younger, which is kind of weird to say. I don't know, like not necessarily making him look smaller, but they just, I don't know what it was that made him look younger necessarily. But you can definitely tell he's not as matured in stuff as that's probably not the right word, but as he is in the when we first see him and stuff in the other movies. Is it maybe because he's smaller? I'm not sure. What was I saying? Oh, the last monster fight. I really, really enjoyed that. Godzilla comes in. They're trying to get out from the dimension between Hollow Earth and regular Earth. And then Godzilla comes to the portal and fucks up that dragon monster. And Iris is like Godzilla just throwing him around, and I love the camera movement on it as well. And like Godzilla like charging up his atomic breath, and that's where all the budget went into, like where the monsters and stuff. Which I'm not complaining at all. I mean, that's kind of your selling, not really your selling point, but like if your monsters are bad in a show with the emphasis is monsters, then not necessarily the emphasis, but you know what I mean. Like that's a big part of the universe. Then yeah, you kind of are assed out, buddy. But yeah. So I'm glad to say the monsters were great in it, and I love seeing Godzilla, especially like the role he was playing. It was more of a obviously a background role, but like just every time he showed up, bro, it was just clapping my hands. What else? What else? Oh, I really liked at the end of seeing Kong. Oh, the future of this. Like, where is this gonna go? Like, is there a season 2 being talked about? I haven't really heard any rumblings about that. I mean, this show's been gone on. So this is on Apple TV. I don't know. Sorry if I didn't. I never mentioned that. Fuck, that's probably bad. It's on Apple TV. And they have a really lot of quality shows that go under the radar. So I wonder what the numbers on the show are looking like. Like it has high numbers or what? But where could this show go in the future? Like I said, I wish these characters were kind of like popped up in the main line movies. I feel like they're way, way more interesting than what we've seen so far. But then there's something to be played with what happens in the second movie. Like literally the world almost fucking ends. So that's like G-Day in San Francisco times 100 of what's happening in that with like King Ghidorah and shit and like all the other Titans. So there's definitely something to play with there. Where these characters fit into that, I'm not sure. Since we didn't see, it's pretty it's Monarch heavy, that second movie, and like, there's no rumblings with these characters at all. So can they slot these characters in somewhere in the continuity, maybe somewhere after this movie, and like or maybe a new cast of characters dealing with the aftermath of what happened in G-Day times 100. But I would want to see these characters for my liking. But you can make compelling characters and a compelling narrative again with different ones. So I'm not too worried about that. But where's the future of the show? Because it ends off with King Kong and they're on Skull Island. So oh yeah, that's what I can mention. I really like how all the past narrative really came together with the present one, and Kurt Russell got to meet Keiko again, like at an older age, and like their whole reconnection and him like I really love their like little love triangle. They both obviously really had love for Keiko, but it was just like she's feeling who she's feeling. Like, they weren't tripping off each other. Like, and it wasn't a spoken thing either, but it wasn't like, damn, I got beef over this girl, or it wasn't like she's like being super choosy over one of the two. It's just like kind of natural, and I really just like that development and stuff. And I, what's it called? So yeah, I liked how, Kurt Russell got to meet her in the present and stuff, and all the time she lost. And I like Kate's speech to her, getting her back, because I felt like this was dumb as fuck. So Keiko was like gonna stay back in the what did she call the place? I forgot what she called it, but in the I'll say Hollow Earth. I know it's not Hollow, it's like the space in between, but I'll call it the space in between. But she was gonna stay in the space in between, because she was like, oh, I missed out on my son growing up. What's it called? Like, what was it? I forgot what her other reasoning is. But basically, she said like, the world up there is like not the world I knew. Like, there's nothing for me type shit. Like, I don't want to re-break my son's heart, like coming back, like missing so much time and coming back in. She was like, basically, I'm gonna stay. And I was like, what? Like, even if you did fuck up, bro, there's no way that you're staying in this fucked ass place with these fucking monsters hunting with a bow and arrow over civilization, a burger, some pizza, and hot bath. Like, there's no way that you're willing to stay in this because you got, your life's fucked up on the top. Like, come on, bro, get your ass in the pod. Yeah, I just that part wasn't really convincing, but I like Kate's like speech to her and stuff. That was cool. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, the future of this, I'm interested to see more. Preferably with the same characters, but I'm confident with the way this story was told. They could do it again with some different characters. Hopefully. Is there anything else? I'll probably miss something. I'll cover it next week in what did I miss section. So Echo. I really this show's all right. I don't think it's one thing. All right. I'm trying to like, if you're into the Marvel stuff and like you feel like you were burned by Secret Invasion or something like that, or you find these shows like, I was gonna say you find these shows ultimately lackluster. Um, I feel like this one delivered for the most part. Yeah, it's some good elements. There's some shit that falls short, but I think it's enjoyable. I think it's if you're into this Marvel shit, it's worthy to check out. I feel like if you're not really into this stuff, um, then you're not really missing a whole lot from skipping it. I mean, you might be like lore wise, but like it's not like, oh my fucking god, this is the best thing that's come out from Marvel. You gotta go watch this. Da da da. I don't think it's on that level, but it's all right. I think it's super restricted. Again, I didn't finish this. I fell asleep on the last two episodes. I was just super tired. Um, but I really like the first three. One, it's only 5 episodes, so it's even shorter. What I was about to say, it's really restricted by that 6 episode format. Um, it's just like there's not enough time to tell a compelling narrative. Um, it's like you treat shows differently how you treat movies. Like there's what am I trying to say? It's just I don't know. It's just super restricted. It doesn't really have any time to breathe. Like the exhalation is just so go 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 go. And then like you got to spend time catching your audience on stuff that happened in it's like, bro, if you're just gonna recap the whole show or like this character's whole appearance in another show that they showed up in, it's like what the fuck is the point of having these shows? Like these are supposed to like you're obviously not everyone's gonna watch the show, but you're I feel like you're making these shows for a reason, so like you should go off the strength that people watch the show. Like the first episode, and again, I didn't mind this ultimately because there is enough I feel like in between and like new stuff in between like these flashbacks and shit to make it worthwhile for someone who's already like caught up on this shit. But like the whole first episode, at least like the first like 30 minutes of it is like recapping Hawkeye. And it's just like I watched Hawkeye. Like I don't need this recap like other people. So it's just like you're spending this time like doing that, and you only have 5 episodes, and it's like this stuff just really benefit from. Well, I wonder what's the first show gonna be under like the new writing and restructure of how they're doing their shows into the more traditional TV format. Um, what's gonna be the first show? But I kind of been ragging on it this whole time. But I liked the main actress. Hold on. So she's actually deaf and she's an amputee in real life, which Echo is in the show. Aliqua Cox. Oh wow, Charlie Cox, Aliqua Cox. That's interesting. Um, she's really good. I'll get to her fight scenes in a bit. While I'm here, might as well just go through the cast. She's really good. Obviously, Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, always great. Um, Charlie Cox is in this. Matt Murdock, I feel like his appearance was great. I really like Zane McClamin as William McLaren as William Lopez, and I really like Tantu Cardinal as Chula, like their Echo's grandmother. She was really really good. She was super compelling. I felt that all the way. Oh, I liked Graham Greene as Scully. That was super fun. I feel like there's more, but yeah, those are the standouts for me. Alka Cox, what's it called? And I heard she did most of her stunts too, so that's really impressive. Good on her. I'm really interested to see her in more things. Fuck. Yeah, so whatever she's in, I'm definitely keep an eye on because she's really good, really good. I really liked her action scene with. Fuck. Oh, did I say? Oh, so same with Echo. I'll go spoiler free, and then I'll go spoilers. Sorry, should have mentioned that up top. Um, I really liked her action sequences. This show really has some really good action in it. Um, so I really hope this is an indication of how like the Daredevil action will be. Um, just super violent, like super like real, like characters. What am I trying to say? Like I don't know, just like the moves that they were pulling off. It was super choreographed, but choreographed in a way that felt like rough and like I wouldn't say rough and like real, you know, not super like oh my god, like this is like Star Wars prequel level choreography where it just feels picture perfect, you know. Um, yeah, but I just really like how this show is like she's a villain. Like there's no like damn an anti-hero or trying to do the right thing. Like no, she's a villain. I really like that aspect of the series. And I really liked her powers. Actually, hold on, time out. Her powers I didn't necessarily like a whole lot. Like it's kind of she just kind of like gets strength from her ancestors, which is the concept of her powers I like, but just like I feel like her comic power set is way more. I wouldn't even say tied to the character because this power set is very much tied. Hmm. I wouldn't. It's tied to her heritage and not necessarily the character. So her powers in the comics are way more tied to her character. Like she has like kind of like photographic like memory and no, I wouldn't say memory, but she can like. So she's deaf, so she has to like watch, and so like she can really pick up on people's actions and moves like really well more than like the average person and stuff. And so that's like really incorporated in this. And then like there's a line in the show where her dad like says like you have to like watch like really pay attention and watch and shit, and they kind of don't do anything with that. Like obviously like she has to be more observant, but like they don't really take that a step further, and incorporate that into her fighting style, which was kind of disappointing. um yeah, like but her like the shit like linking back to her heritage and how all that played out was really well and worthwhile. There's not a whole much to say. Like I really like Outlook Cox, like I said, and it's really impressive. Like she's actually deaf and an amputee and doing all most of her own stunts and stuff. I was gonna talk about the ending, but I didn't get there. But yeah, let's just jump into spoilers real quick because I want to talk some Daredevil stuff. Um, bro, Daredevil, the way he's handled in this show is mwah, chef's kiss. It literally felt like ripped straight out of a comic book. So like Echo is her first Maya Lopez Echo. It's her first job like under the Kingpin. Like he sends her out into the field, and they're taking over this base or whatever. And as as they're doing and they're fighting and shit, she's kind of like fish out the water, like oh shit, like what is going on? Don't know what to do, like just standing around. And then when she like gets into it and gets active, Daredevil shows up and he's pissed. He's like, I was watching these guys all night, and you guys come in and you fuck up the feng shui, and he starts beating. But it's so cool because you're seeing it from like Maya and her team's perspective, and you're just seeing how much of a threat Daredevil is. And it's just like, bro, he just comes in, wrecks her henchman, and then she has a nice one-on-one fight with him. And I put this into possibly fight of the year. Obviously, it's the beginning of the year, and more stuff to come. But I just really, really enjoyed Maya's fight with Daredevil. Just her moves and shit. She does like this cool ass she's about to kick Daredevil, but like she holds her leg back and make it like so she's standing on one foot and delays the kick for a second, and like he like he doesn't like super react to it, but she's like waiting for him to make a move, and as soon as he's about to like strike, she lets go of her foot and like lets the kick fly. And it's just a super cool moment, and I just love like technical choreography like that. And then just Daredevil being like way more acrobatic and stuff, flipping over fences. Like there's this one moment where like Echo like locks herself in this cage, and like there's a bunch of guns like lined up, and like Daredevil flips over the fence and dodges like the shot she takes at him. And then like they're fighting over like the guns, and like he's pushing them off like the table or whatever, and she's trying to like grab him. And then like it's just a super good fight sequence. And then by the end of it, Daredevil wins. But he just like leaves. He like just shows up and leaves, bro. That's it. Like it's just so cool because obviously, like if they're in New York, you're in Daredevil's turf, like you're gonna run into him if you're doing some, loud shit. And so that's how most of the cameos in the MCU should be handled well. It's not this fucking grand entrance of fucking oh my fuck, like we're at the Avengers Tower, so we're at the Avengers, like in Ant-Man, for instance. I gotta go to the Avengers base and steal something. So obviously an Avengers gonna be there expecting it. Oh my god, it's this cool fucking shit. Oh my god, it's the Falcon. What the fuck? It could have been anyone any more interesting, but it's the Falcon. Oh, cool. You're expecting it, and then but it should be this organic feeling, especially if, like done well like this from like a different perspective, of just the hero coming in, doing their Dougie, and then they dip out. Like that's it, bro. That's all we need, and it's not a big deal. It's not a big entrance. It's not a big exit. It's just simple. That's how the comics are. That's you're constantly passing like by heroes, or constantly running into other heroes operating here and there, and obviously you got your instances of like something big's happening and they're not there and whatever. But there's regularly reoccurring instances of heroes, and obviously it's a little bit harder to do that in movies and shows and shit because you got a budget and some actors are higher profile than others, so they cost a lot more. So you can't it's a little harder, but it's like, bro, you got the money for it, bro. Just do it if it's some quick shit or whatever. But I just really love Daredevil's inclusion in this. It wasn't overbearing, didn't take away from the show. It wasn't like, oh, I'm fucking waiting on this tooth and nail, like, and She-Hulk and whatnot. But I really didn't even talk about the Kingpin, because he's not really, he's in it for a little bit, but her relationship kind of with him, I wasn't super, super sold on. I wish they really kind of, again, this is fucking 5-6 episode limit, or, restriction. It's like you don't have time for shit to breathe. Like it would have been really cool if we like saw their relationship breathe a little bit and build a little bit more. And really, her, instead of just telling us he's like an uncle to her, and just really like seeing that though. It would have made one Hawkeye more enjoyable, where she fucking shoots him in the face and that. And then it would have made this more enjoyable as she's like trying to take over and being quote unquote the queen pin. So that's a little bit disappointing, but regardless of Vincent D'Onofrio's performance as Wilson Fisk, knocks it out of the park as per usual. I'm trying to just think of some highlights. She beats up this ice cream. Oh, I really like that. So this when when Maya's younger, she's deaf, and like she tries to get some ice cream. The guy's a dick about it, like use her words and da da da, not knowing she can't is like is mute, and deaf and stuff, and can't understand him. He's just being a dick about it, and so the Kingpin he's not with that shit. So you touch my Vanessa. He hops out the car and just beats the shit out of him, and then he calls or whatever, and it's just like, oh, bring me a new suit. I can't have Maya see me and like bloodied up like this. But Maya watched that whole thing, and so he's like, oh shit, I fucked up. And like Maya walks over, like looks or whatever, and then she kicks the guy, like not like scared at all, but like kicks him. And so that was kind of like, I feel like her start of her villain or her darker side coming out. And so that was a really cool moment just to see that, and just like wish we got a kind of not kind of, I wish we got more stuff like that, really showing like, because like her dad didn't want her in the life, and was like, you're gonna live a better life than me. And so it would have been cool to really see that like maybe tension of them like fighting over like keep Maya out this life or whatever, but Kingpin like see some real value in her, and just like him cultivating that darker side and stuff like that would have been cool to see. I mean, we do see like glimpses of that, but it's just, in my opinion, there's not enough time to spend on it to really like bring it home, and really hammer home that point. Yeah, I'm just really excited to see like fucking Kingpin in the Daredevil show, bro. Again, this is not about them, it's about Maya, but it's just, I just wish this show had more breathing room, And so like I did say like I fell asleep on the last 2 episodes, but I did catch like glimpses of them coming out of my sleep and shit. But as I'm saying, like Again, even though like earlier stuff, felt like it needed more time to cook. So yeah, I don't really want to speak on like how it like wraps up because yeah. But I'll probably no, not probably because I do want to give the show its fair shake, and I want to properly give Aluqua. Sorry, did I pronounce her name wrong? Aluqua Coxer, her flowers, and I feel like it's important to at least give it a fair shake in that regard. Um, and that's not like a pity thing or not or anything, but I just really like her, and it's like a unique situation. I don't really think I've watched anything with like an actual like amputee and someone like deaf, portraying an amputee deaf character, and so that's just really cool in that regard. So I would like to properly give its do justice. Nah, not the right word. It's time to shine, I guess. So I'll probably whenever I finish that up, throwing in the weekly watch list or whatever. But on to the last main topic. What are we at? 218. Okay, it's gonna be a regular size episode this week, which is great. Not no 3 hour shit. But Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm gonna just give my brief first impressions on this because I decided to make a video on it. While I was like wrestling with how I wanted to do comics, but I'm just gonna do it in the regular way I do videos because it's a visual medium, so I wanted to, when I'm talking about the art, I want to throw the art up on the screen so people can see what I'm talking about and not just like describe it and not have the proper vernacular and vocabulary to portray or to explain what I'm talking about. It's easier to just show it, and, with the words along with it. But man, I really enjoyed this comic so much. If you're not familiar, again, I'm gonna keep it spoiler free until I'll probably keep this. We'll see, but spoiler free for now. But if you don't know, quick rundown. So this is set in the Ultimate Universe. Apparently, someone named the Maker. I know who the Maker is, but just to keep it vague, the Maker, he made it so that majority, if not all, of the heroes in the Ultimate Universe never got their powers. So in this story specifically, Peter Parker Spider-Man, he was supposed to get bit when he was like what, 14, 15, around that age. But the Maker stopped that from happening. So, he just went on to live his life. And it's just, so he goes on, he builds a family with MJ. They have 2 kids. He's established, they have a nice apartment. He works at the Bugle. Like he's just, it's an interesting reimagining of Peter Parker's origin that at least to me that I haven't seen. Like I'm not super into comics yet. I haven't like read every Spider-Man story and every spin-off Spider-Man story of when he's older and shit or whatnot. So, and in general though, it's a really refreshing reimagining of his origins and his characters and his relationship with them and who's alive and who's dead and who's who he has a strong relationship with and whatnot. And it's just, man, I love the art on it. Marco Cecchetto, hope I pronounced that right. Still, from my knowledge, of what I'm hearing, rumblings and whatnot. He's not rumblings, but he's a really good artist. And then Jonathan Hickman, who's writing the story, is a really good writer and has like a lot of top stories as well. So just a lot of good names involved. Wilson. There's someone who does like the coloring on it that I really like a lot. That's a really highlight to me. Just like how like some stuff is portrayed and stuff with the coloring and whatnot. It's just, bro, it's just so refreshing, bro. Just being a major Spider-Man fan and just ultimately consuming the cartoons and the animated stuff and then the movie side of things. And like comics here and there dealing with Peter Parker, but nothing ever really in adulthood. And most of like all the animated and the movie stuff is him, either in high school or graduating high school. It's like he's not in full adulthood yet. So just seeing this take, bro, is just so refreshing and fun. And I just had such a fun time with this story. Love the way it's developing. Love all the surprise cameos. Love everything about it, bro. And it's just really, it's, bro, when I was buying this comic, it felt like I was a kid again, like going into GameStop, bro. And it transported me to the moment, bro, when I got my first PS3, and the first game I got along with that was Batman Arkham Asylum, and just walking out holding Asylum and just getting just so like impatient and ready to go home and play it and stuff. That's exactly how I felt like as a grown ass man picking up a comic from a comic book store. Like I was like, I got home and stuff, and I had some editing to get done, and the comic was just sitting next to me, and I was just like on some SpongeBob shit, just looking at it like, I don't need it. I don't need it. Like I gotta get this editing done. But I eventually just broke down and took a break from editing and read the comic. So yeah, I just really enjoyed everything with surrounding the comic, and it's just really enjoyable to one be a part of like this journey. Like a lot of people are excited about this, and a lot of people are like really enjoying it. But to be a like, I don't know, it's just something to be a part of, you know? Not like something to be, but it's enjoyable to be a part of and be in on this moment of especially since like I guess like I haven't been reading them or anything, but just seeing people just complain about them. But the mainline Spider-Man stuff that's going on in the 616 universe, the main universe, is just super lackluster to people, and a lot of people have some problems with it. I'm gonna keep it. I haven't seen not one. And again, this is probably like the post I click on, and then like how the algorithm, you know, tailoring it to that, but and just like engaging and not like, you know, commenting on it, but just like seeing what people are complaining about and seeing the replies to the post. But like I have not seen not one person say anything good about the mainline Spider-Man stuff. Maybe the Spider-Boy stuff. I heard like he's like kind of fun, but yeah, for the most part, I haven't really heard anything positive. But you know, that's not to say like people aren't saying positive things. Just what I've been seeing. Just really not anything positive. So it's really cool. One, it's really like really as a Spider-Man fan, bro, I just don't be tripping on like just bad adaptations or, you know, not liking it necessarily. Not liking something because, bro, Spider-Man fans be eating, bro. Like out of every superhero, and Batman's like right next to it. Like they get the most like stuff put out because they're some of the biggest heroes ever. And so, you know, we're fucking like what a year to be a Spider-Man fan. Like 2020, like 3 and like bleeding into this new year type shit. It's like, you know, fucking Spider-Verse banger, Spider-Man 2 gameplay wise banger, you know, some story stuff banger too, but for the most part anyways. But like, you know, Spider-Man 2 like fucking you know, this, and it's just like, damn, bro, we're eating, bro, compared to, you know, more obscure characters or even bigger ones like Wolverine. That's a bad example, but I think Hulk is a good example of like a bigger one, but just doesn't get done right in adaptations. Like, you know, his there's like MCU Hulk is super lackluster, and just I mentioned this before, but you know, just with the first Avengers, they were really on their game with that one, just playing because Bruce Banner. I mentioned this. I literally might have been last week, but Bruce Banner is an angry person. You know, whether, you know, until he like figures that out, but he's, you know, it's not just the Hulk that's angry. Bruce is a very angry person, and like the first Avengers did a really good job with that. You know, when he has that outburst with Black Widow and stuff, and like he says, you know, just trying to get a reaction and whatnot, but still, you know, glimpses of that, like he does shit like that, and you know, being whether or not, you know, being fueled by the mind gym when they're all arguing and stuff, but he has that speech of like, you know, about trying to kill himself and stuff, and so it's just like and then after the first Avengers, it's like they kind of like, you know, drop the ball on kind of all that stuff, and you know, he's just super lackluster, and but it's a the point being, like, it's a popular character that just doesn't get done justice, and then like it doesn't get a bunch of adaptations outside of the movies. Like, doesn't have a bunch of cartoons, doesn't have a bunch of games, like at least recently. And so, you know, I guess he was in an Avengers game. I'm trying to remember the story on that, like how he was handled. I don't really remember, but it's just a Spider-Man fan, bro. We be eating, and I don't be tripping on stuff being bad. Like, regardless, like obviously I'm gonna complain about it, say my 2 cents, but you know, ultimately it's not gonna affect my day-to-day life. Like, who fucking cares? I got money to make, got bills to pay, type shit, you know. But Yeah, I mean, I could go into spoilers with Ultimate Spider-Man, but I'm gonna make a video, so honestly, don't really feel compelled to. So if you do want to look out for that video, subscribe to my YouTube channel at DS2 Smooth. Links will be down below. Cool shout out, cool shout out. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I don't really have much to say. The art's cool, great. Characters great. Oh, I really like the character models and stuff like MJ and his kids and Peter and stuff. Super cool. Um, I like the surprise characters that are in it that we see. Um, yeah. I don't really have much to say besides like spoiler stuff, which I will be diving into when I make the video, which I'm writing the script for right now. Not like right now, but I have this video that I'm editing that is really close to being done. Because I've been kind of like trying to prioritize kind of this, which is not like I haven't posted a video in like a month, and which I've been trying to up my content output. It just takes me a while to edit and life and shit. But so I'm not, and then like Ultimate Spider-Man is like kind of new, so I've been kind of prioritizing that script a little bit more so I can get that filmed and start editing that. And it's not gonna be a super long video since it's just issue 1, but I just like everything about the comic, so it's like kind of talking about everything in the comic. So yeah, just trying to not make that video too long so I can get it edited and put out. But yeah, I feel like that video is gonna do well when I do put that out because it's gonna be. And I don't want to fall into this trap and make every video like this, and it won't be. But it's gonna be like titled like, and these videos usually fucking do really well. But like, new comic reader reads Ultimate Spider-Man for the first time. Like people like seeing people watching shit for the first time and shit. I don't know. I mean, I do know like so that shit does well. But with building your audience and your YouTube channel, one thing I did like peep with a couple YouTubers. When they did go that route, they would literally make every video that like first time watching this or, first time, experiencing that or whatever. And then you kind of build your audience on that. And then when you do something else, you're kind of fucked because that's all they want to see is like your first time reaction to something. So your other content doesn't do as well. So I don't want to fall into that trap. But so that's what probably be, yeah. Anyways, yeah, just trying to navigate that. But yeah, really, really enjoy Ultimate Spider. Sorry, gotta stretch. I really, really enjoy Ultimate Spider-Man. Go check that out. Try to properly support it if you can. Go to your local comic book store, get a physical copy if it's not sold out. Try to buy it online if it is sold out. If you can't go that route, I know that online stuff is not available to everyone, or not everyone has a comic book store around them. But if you can, try to support it. And so this can, that's what I was gonna say. This can go on for a while. I know, actually I don't want to say that's kind of spoilers, but and then if you can't, you got to sell the 7 C's. Do what you got to do, matey. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, I wouldn't want to fucking, if you not have access or not have access for a while, and then you're fucking spoiled on it by the time it comes out. But the important thing is, though, if you do sell the 7 C's, when the opportunity arises for you to properly support it, execute that, even if you like read the story, because, one, physical media is great, but, showing your proper support. But do what you got to do. It's not gonna really affect me too much, and not at all, so I don't really care ultimately. But on to the weekly watch list. It's pretty short this week. So, I'll just talk about, since I'm on comics. I read this What If Spider-Man comic with Wolverine, and it was like kind of what if. So there's this panel, right, of like Spider-Man like in this costume, like this. I wouldn't say it's typically it's not his normal costume. It looks super just lethal, like it just looks like aggressive. But the panel is him just like shooting this guy in the face, and I've seen this version before, like top 10 badass versions of characters or whatever. But it's like Spider-Man, like if he was an assassin, basically he was trained by like Wolverine and this other guy. I'm blanking on the name, but anyways, in the story, he's like the what if is like, I guess there was a storyline of Wolverine or Spider-Man helping Wolverine some shit, and like he was going back home like after he was done helping him, but it was like, what if he stayed with Wolverine and then this other guy and they trained him up? And so he ends up doing that. And what's really cool is one Spider-Man, he's like lethal at that point. Like he does not care about killing or anything. So it's like really cool to see that. And then he hones his spider sense to a point where it's what is the word, beyond clairvoyant or clairvoyant. Instead of just like sensing danger like as it happens, this man can sense danger weeks at a time, type shit, months at a time in the future. So it was just really cool seeing that, and it was they did some cool things playing around with that, and how, you know, how you would strategize with that and whatever. It's really worth the read, to be honest. It was on a Marvel Unlimited, like their app. It's a monthly subscription. Just has a bunch of Marvel comics. I don't know how well it does like on newer shit. I know I had like the newer Moon Knight run, but it had like kind of the older issues. It didn't have like the last two that dropped. So I think I gotta try, because I was like reading that storyline, and so I gotta track down those last like couple issues and to finish that, because it kind of, you know, left at a, you know, spot where it's about to finish up. And I think there's also a new Moon Knight. So yeah, I gotta see who that is. And see what happened to my dog Mark Spector. Fuck. I hope nothing. Goddamn. Hope nothing bad happened to Marky Mark. Fuck. Jeez. I'm sorry. I'm just like contemplating that. I fuck with Mark Spector tough. Moon Knight. He's one of my favorite comic characters ever since I started reading and like learning more about him and stuff. So damn, that kind of sucks. Hopefully the new Moon Knight's cool. And then also a new song, 500K or J by J100. I mentioned him before, Detroit rapper. I really love his wordplay. It's so fucking fun. But this was more of a chill song, not chill necessarily, but more. He's speaking real shit, not exactly. He still has clever wordplay, but it's not like. It's not like I got an RPG with a switch. They call me Oppenheimer type shit, you know. He said, bro, I sent this song to my brother, bro. He had a crazy string of bars, bro. He said, I just carved this ops pumpkins. I just carved this Fuck. I just carved the. Gosh damn. Should I even say it now? I'm gonna try to. He said, I just carved this ops pumpkin. Now they ask headless horsemen's. I'm finna take this nigga's badge. He's in cahoots with the enforcements. This Majin Buu ass nigga out here practicing absorption. Like, bro, I didn't do it justice at all, but like with his flow and his cadence and shit, it's a crazy ass string of bars. What is that song called? It's called Murder Pain featuring Babytron. Really good song. So yeah. I just love his wordplay a lot. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot of weekly watch list stuff. So yeah, that's it for that. And on to Pondering My Orb. And then hold on. So when I was editing the show last week, I was running out of space on my computer, because like I just had all the videos I made before on here, and not on my like SSD hard drive. Which I've been trying to check the space on that, because it might be getting full soon. But I just had, you know, all of the raw footage from my videos, like, so hours and hours of raw footage, and then also on top of that, the final video of, you know, of me exporting it from Adobe Premiere, like cutting up all that footage and the final video of that. And so I just had all that on my computer, so my shit was just super full. And then I just made a new folder on my hard drive of like archived videos, and so just went through and like put those on the hard drive, and I just freed up so much space on my computer. I have like 175 gigs of free space, and before I had only like the lowest I seen was like 4 gigs. So I freed up a bunch of space transferring all that stuff to my hard drive. So not worried about space. I literally had to end it abruptly, and it was a long ass episode too. And then also whatever. But as we move on to the last section of the pod, Pondering My Orb, basically, I don't think I gave like a rundown of this, but basically it's just me reflecting on what I got to do for the week or shit I want to work on. And hopefully in my reflection that helps you reflect or makes you want to reflect, and maybe I say some stuff that resonates with you or whatnot and helps you put you on the path to success, because I want to see everybody succeed, man. There's enough to go around, to be honest. And then also, from one of these songs I enjoy called, I forgot what it's called, but he said, the biggest blessing you can give your niggas is the game that you were taught. So, hey, Y'all my niggas, and I want to see y'all win. So, but basically, it's sacrifices, bro. Sacrifices. I've been saying just like lock in and shit, and this goes into that, but it's the sacrifices you got to make to lock in. And the sacrifices I got to make are smoking weed in my sleep. um, the first thing, smoking weed. So it's not like everyone's different. I know people who can smoke, bro, and be hella productive, and it helps them be productive and shit. Like everyone's different. And for me, like I'm not saying I can't be productive off weed, but it just makes my mind just wander, and it unfocus me type shit, and it makes me want to just do the default of what I usually am used to. Like if I get home, and there's a couple reasons, but let's say I get home right from work, long day, I smoke, try to get some work done, and then the feeling will creep in like, damn, bro, you do not want to work on this shit right now. Just go play the game or something, or just chill and go watch some shit. But like, no, I need to focus on getting this done. But the thing is, also, I do like smoking though but that's like after like a long day or some shit. And even if it's not a long day, like it's easier to fight off if it's not a long day, because then it's like I'm not exhausted and shit and do actually want to go and chill out. But I do like editing when I'm high sometimes, because not sometimes, but when I'm high, because it just makes me think of hella funny shit and just funny high shit. Like oh my God. Anyways, like I was saying, some of the funniest shit in my videos I came up with, at least to me, was when I was like geeked. So there's that, but sacrifices. I'm still funny without being geeked, but it's just high thoughts. But and then also coming in with like distracting and shit. When I'm like spending time with my girl, like obviously I want to spend time with my girl, so I'm not gonna be like editing and shit, and like obviously I'm gonna be smoking with her and shit, and so I'll edit after she goes to sleep, which is like at like 11, like at the latest, and so really trying to ball all four quarters, bro, because that's what you got to do. If it's like some extracurricular shit like this, and it's not like a job or a career that you're working in and constantly like going forward, it's you gotta put in that time after hours type shit, and like type shit, and so you have other obligations outside of like after hours that you gotta handle, and so smoking and shit just makes me hella like groggy and tired, and so by the time she goes to sleep and shit, I'm trying to go to sleep, you feel me? But again, it's just the sacrifice I gotta make. One sacrifice in my sleep, stay up not like hella late, because obviously I gotta work in the morning and I have a physical job, so if your body's tired, you're gonna be fucked. If your mind is tired and whatnot, whatever. But it just distracted me. It just takes me away from that, and I gotta ball all four quarters, bro. All four quarters, and like that's another thing that goes into pondering my orb this week. It's just abusing all of that free time that you have, and abusing it to get where you want to go. But it's also that goes into that is recognizing what's free time and what's quality time, like I said, when I'm with my girl, like we've had like conversations of like, because I will try to, like before I would try to edit and shit when I'm with her, and that's not like being present with her and stuff. And so it's just recognizing what's like, free time, but like, got to spend that with quality time, where it's like with free time, you're down, I guess your downtime and your free time is whatever. I hope what I'm saying is making sense, but you just got to recognize when it's time to put in work extra hours, or when it's time to be present in the moment with either like your friends or your family or whatever the case is, But those are my sacrifices that I'm making, just trying to my sleep, waking up early to get some editing done before work, and like going to sleep a little bit later to get some editing done like after I spend time with my shorty and shit. It's just bro, sacrifices, bro, if you really want to get to where you want to go. If you're not, in a career that's, putting you forward to that. And even still, like, you got overtime and whatnot you got to do if it's like a newer career or whatever. You got to make sacrifices, bro. So that was my thing. Just recognizing those sacrifices you got to make, and also not burning out. Be very mindful about that, because if you burn out, bro, you're not going to do shit. No matter how much you want, how much you know you have to do it, you're not gonna want to do it if you're burnt out. So yeah, that'll probably be next week, and talking about taking time for yourself and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my pondering my orb for this week. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and stuff at DS2Smooth. The links will be down below. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, follow my main YouTube channel at DS2Smooth. That's where that Ultimate Spider-Man comic video will be dropping. And then also with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, that will be thrown up on my second channel, DS2Smooth Elongated. Right now I'm playing through Cyberpunk and just been dragging my feet with that. So probably be doing that at the same time as the Kill the Suicide Squad, or Kill the Justice League. So yeah, just look out for that. And obviously the pod. If you're listening to this on Spotify or wherever or if you're listening to this on YouTube, like and subscribe helps a lot, or just lets me know that people are actually like watching this stuff, because I do get views. Not sure how long they watch it. Probably could check that on YouTube Studios or whatever. But like and subscribe, and just let me know. Drop a comment or something on what you think about the news or the main topic or anything. Honestly, I just enjoy engaging with you guys, and more so at least right now on like my main YouTube channel. That's where like I get most of my comments and engagement and stuff. And then also if you're listening on Spotify, drop a rating. That would be really appreciated. I don't know if you could drop a review on there, but drop a review. And I'm thinking about making not YouTube channel, a Twitter account for this podcast. Yeah, so I can get that going. Maybe get some people to write in some questions, or whatever the main topic is. Maybe I'll put like out a roll call type shit, like, oh, you watched Echo, what do you think about it? And I'll say those comments. It's kind of stealing stealing the Weekly Planets flow. I'm not gonna lie to you, but hey, I just really like their setup. Shit. Yeah, that's pretty much it though. I'll catch you guys next week. So, actually, before we end it, so the Book of Clarence came out, and I probably could if I really wanted to, but I was just trying to catch up on Monarch, was watching Echo, but I just didn't have really time to make some time to watch that, and I really was trying to watch that. That came out this week. There was something else that came out that was American Fiction or something with what's his name? He plays Gordon in The Batman. Jeffrey Wright. I wanted to check that out. It was like an author. I'll explain the Book of Clarence really quick too. But the author, he pretended to be gangster while he was writing a book, and put out a fake image. And so I think he just has to kind of live up to that in the real world type shit. I think something along those lines. But the Book of Clarence, he knows Jesus during that time, and basically makes money off of Jesus' name, and doing fake miracles and shit. And he gets wrapped up in the Roman Empire. It just has some, and them, I'm not sure how they play a part in it, but it just has some really good people in it. Lakeith Stanfield as the main guy, Clarence, I think. And then what's his name? He played Xavier in the First Class and shit. James McAvoy, he plays one of the Roman empires. They said Benedict Cumberbatch was in it. I didn't see him in the trailer. It just has some really good name attached, and actually, because I'm really interested in that movie. Let me see if obviously this doesn't really mean anything, but let me see what the the ratings are on it. So yeah, this came out 4.1. So it's actually pretty well rated. Seems like for now. I'm about to end it because oh my god, they keep fucking booting up that vacuum. Sorry if you hear that. I really apologize. I'm sorry. This doesn't really mean anything. But at least to me, it just gives a general. Oh, that's what it was right there. Rotten Tomatoes. That is 67 on Rotten Tomatoes, 5.5 on IMDb, 60% on Metacritic. Again, this isn't so as a 77% audience score, 67% Rotten Tomatoes. Again, make your own opinion, but I feel like it just gives me a baseline of what I'm walking into at the very, very least, But yeah, that vacuum keeps going, so we're just gonna end it and just turn it off again. So sorry if you heard that. Yeah, follow me on the socials and everything, and I will catch you guys. I didn't even say what was next week. We'll see. I'll catch you guys next week. Twos.